Welcome back to Comics Aficionados, as Wes would call it, your Saturday morning delight. We have a great panel here. I am hosting today. Unfortunately, Wes had a tragedy in the family, so if you guys could spare a moment to send some prayers his way, I know he would appreciate it. In the meantime, we have got a killer panel of guests, as we normally do. We have got our very own special recurring guest, Perch is here, everybody. Everybody in the chat freak out. Everybody do Kermit arms. How you doing, Perch?
Doing okay, but I you know, this not showing my face thing really sucks when the rest of you are on there. We are going to have to address that at some point.
Normally, you would have Doc, and who wouldn't be on camera, so it would balance Jim out. But no Jim. I mean, I could just go to my logo if that would make me happy.
Well, as someone that's actually seen Perch's face, yes, he has a face. Yes,
I do. Yeah, it exists.
Yes, it's not just eyes without a face.
Mm-hmm.
So Aaron is showing his face before Perch, which is just yet another thing that Aaron did first before Perch.
That's true.
I don't think I've done anything first before Perch. I think Perch is the trailblazer here.
No.
We also have, speaking up in the chat, we've got Sus Gabe. How's it going, Gabe, from Comical Opinions? How you doing?
Good morning. Happy to be here. Yes, again, as you haven't heard, Wes had an unfortunate tragedy in the family. My heart and my condolences, my thoughts and prayers and everything go out to Wes. So we wish him well. We wish him comfort and peace in this difficult time. And we're just looking forward to having a great conversation, especially talking about Marvel, which seems to be the big word on everybody's lips these days.
Yeah, which is surprising. Marvel has not been the word on anybody's lips in a while, has it, Dylan?
Not for their comics.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while since anybody really had much to say about Marvel that was, positive or negative. It's just like they've been kind of just coasting. Also on the panel, we've.
I don't know, Aaron. You don't sell everybody short. There's been plenty of negative comments.
Maybe that's true. I suppose that's true. I feel the general apathy behind them now. It's like now people come along and it's like they used to be like Marvel, and now they come along and they go Marvel, and they just kind of jab it with a stick to see if it moves, and then just go move on. Returning to the channel for her second appearance, we have Danny from Comics and.
I'm here to be the token lady. Yeah, so you guys are checking the box and making sure you're what's the word? I don't even know the word. I just woke up.
We have diversity and representation.
Representation, inclusion.
You feel seen? You feel heard?
I feel seen. I feel heard. I feel represented. So you've got your Latin box, your disabled box, and your lady box. Oops.
Lady box.
We finally got intersectional feminism working for us.
Danny punches the card on our gives us a punch on our not a sexist card.
On your not an ableist card, and you're not a racist card. Not a racist card too. So
it's kind of weird. This panel has more diversity than Marvel's editorial team at this point.
No. He said it.
First coming in hot.
Yeah.
I wish we could drop that meme of the guys going, oh!
Don't you think it is a little odd that, right, we actually, Marvel is shifting so far to the right that they now have a straight white guy as their editor-in-chief versus a Japanese asexual?
I thought we just had a pork bun running Marvel Comics, but
pork bun.
I guess we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about them shuffling Akira Yoshida back to Japan. There's lots of interesting things to get into with this whole Marvel thing. I was kind of like shocked, not at the news, because we've been expecting this for a while. Some of these conversations have been happening for years. It just takes a long time for these things to get into gear. But the reaction didn't seem to be as much surprise as it did just kind of like, oh, all right, I guess that's happening, which kind of shows you how what the position that Marvel's in.
It's like the other shoe dropped from upstairs. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we see all these things happening. Like Perch has been talking about it. We've been talking about it. And this is the kind of like corporate synergy that eventually happens when you are acquired by a mega corporation. And it took a little bit longer than I thought it would. I thought it would take about 10 years. It took a little bit longer, but they're being consolidated into Burbank. No more will Marvel have that New York mystique.
Like, oh no, money is important. Oh no, we got to make money.
Well, if you already have a big publishing, and I know that we're really like kind of like messing up the format of the show because we're already talking about the topic. Normally we'd have to be like,
intros, man. You haven't gone all the way through. Intros.
I know, like, well, I mean, everybody knows Sully. He doesn't need an intro.
Oh,
Well, I got
Austin people not getting attention. What are you going to do?
hey, I got good news. My little YouTube channel that just broke 1,800 subscribers, man, and I'm on my way.
Hey, congrats!
Congrats!
Million. Yeah, thanks. I mean, you can still grow your YouTube channel out there if you're a small YouTube creator. Find your niche, find your gag, find whatever works. Me, I use bunnies, the bunnies on my lawn, and these bunnies have given me through shorts like at least 300 or 400 subscribers in the past year. And it's like, keep growing your channel. Don't stop trying. Keep at it, please.
Are you not splitting your audience though? Or are you not having? You're like, I'm going to talk about this comic today, and then your audience is going, "Boo, bunnies! Where's the bunny content?"
It's all about audience capture at this point, isn't it? Isn't it just get those subscriber numbers up, and isn't it? Worry about content later.
Well, then you're gonna have to worry about watch hours, and that one will get you.
I got it. I got monetized the old-fashioned way. 1,000 subscribers, 5,000 view hours. Like a couple of years back when that shit mattered. And,
you jerk!
It was like a video game. It was like beating the big boss. It was like I followed the Nerdrotic recipe and it worked.
You didn't just pay for subscribers or
No.
get your channel like taken away and then pay for subscribers again?
Grinding. I made daily content for 2 years. I did a daily comic book show. And it took a lot out of you too. I mean, seriously.
Yes, it does.
I mean, making content's no joke. Like when Perch finds a way to do it, you find a great time to do that in your car. And the ambient car noises and sometimes traffic stuff going on is very entertaining, man.
I always like it when Perch has to stop to comment on somebody cutting him off, or like some kind of nonsense going on in traffic. I'm like, oh, this feels real. # relatable.
Yeah, cinema verite.
See, I can't drive anymore, so I do it all right here. I was doing it 5 days a week, daily streams right here for like 2 years to build watch hours. It just was like, I'm so tired. So now I'm down to 3 days a week plus my pre-recorded stuff and everything else I do. So now I'm really tired.
No, hosting a stream is it's like I applaud everybody who does it, because it is kind of exhausting. It is tough to keep things moving, especially if you've got a bunch of like guests that you've never hosted before or never mixed together before. Like, this is easy because I kind of know what to expect. Nobody's really going to go off the rails, especially since Doc isn't here.
Don't hang on. We can solve that for you, Aaron. Don't worry.
Wait a minute. Are you going to loose cannon, Perch? Or are you going to go off the rails?
I'm kneecapped. I mean, there's too many things I can't say. That's what keeps me in check.
See, if I ever hit a point where I'm like, well, I shouldn't say, it is really, it's really big, because typically I just say whatever. I don't care.
Well, streams are much more difficult on the audience when you have people who are not pushy in their verbal presentation. Like, you got to horn in on the conversation. If everybody just sort of sits back and waits for the host to kind of guide you, and you get a lot of these awkward in between pauses. The audience the audience just sort of like, okay, come on, let's pick it up. If pacing is an issue, pacing is always a big deal, especially on stream. So it helps that you have assembled here the Avengers of over talkers, and that's gonna go a long way to making the stream hopefully much more enjoyable for the audience.
Yeah, Joe Corallo once said that there's nothing that Aaron Sparrow hates more than dead air. He said he can actually just watch me like start to unravel if there's too long a pause in the conversation.
Yeah, I hate that so much. There was a couple of times when I was on Film Threat, and someone commented Like, my God, you people just talk over each other so much. Just stop. Just stop. Like, it was driving this person mad. They were losing it.
Well, listen, we've all got a lot to say, and we've got to get it out as passionately as possible before anybody else can talk. That's just the way it is.
True.
So, Dylan, what do you got going on? What's going on the channel over there?
Not much. Just a stream the other day talking about what's going on with the Batman 2 getting delayed again, and it's very funny because they're like, "Oh, we're delaying it for a J.J. Abrams movie." It's like, no, it's gotta be Matt Reeves being like, "I need to delay it again. We need an excuse. We can't throw Matt Reeves under the bus. It's probably his fault for the 800th delay."
But also, like, we're delaying it for a J.J. Abrams film. Like, who? First of all, I'm surprised to hear that there's a J.J. Abrams film. This will be the first one since the Rise of Skywalker. So
it's a secret project. There's no information about the plot. It's one of those, like, I'm doing a thing, but I'm not going to tell you what it is until the last minute.
Cool, because I'm not interested anyway. So please keep that information to yourself as long as you can. I also don't particularly care about the Batman being delayed. Is anybody like excited about the idea of this second Batman film?
Look, I don't think this movie is happening. I just don't think it's happening. Like, Pattinson's going to be 45 years old, 50.
But does he look good? Is he a good 45, 50?
Yeah.
Look, I go see every movie. So I mean, I'm those boring person. I go see, if it's a comic book movie, I go watch it. I don't care.
Yeah.
And most of the time, I mean, it's just, it's there. There hasn't been a true masterpiece comic movie in a while. So you just go watch it.
Yeah.
What would you say is? I'm sorry, Aaron. What was? No. I'm curious. What would you say was? Yes, the last true masterpiece comic book movie.
It's not the last one, but and it's totally cheating. But I think Unbreakable still remains one of the best superhero films of all time.
I agree with you.
Now, from a very different perspective, Super was very funny. It was good at what it did. It's not a superhero movie, but it was good. And then I do like seeing the comics I grew up in reading. I see them on the big screen, even if it's crappy. I said it a while ago. I went to see the Halle Berry Catwoman. It was awful. I knew it was going to be awful when I went in. But you go see Catwoman because that's what you do, and there you are.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see Catwoman in theaters, but I did see Elektra. So I feel like, in a way, I did see Catwoman in theaters.
Yeah, you're part of that, brother.
My brother and I did. Yeah, so did I.
That was too racist to see Catwoman, huh?
Man, Elektra.
I can't remember why I didn't go. Like, it was just one of those things where it's like something was going on and I just sort of missed it, and then it wasn't in theaters that long. I like to say, like, I wanted to see that film, but I was sick on the day.
Oh, Elektra was so bad, I called it Gatorade, Elektra Light. Oh, waka waka.
You gotta pick out your Elektra or your Catwoman or something like that and watch it in the theater. Just something is going to be bad, and then every movie you see from there will be better. Like like me, my kids wanted to go see the Marvels. We went in. I'm like, well, this isn't very good, but it's not Catwoman, and so
like
you have a bar, that's important.
In the chat, we're being told by Xmatron 777 that the Catwoman game was better.
Ooh,
so,
probably.
For those of you who were like really like in the Catwoman theater, going like, this was so close, but it just missed the mark for me. I wish we could.
Oh God, what was that?
Yeah.
Go. What was that? That animated Catwoman movie that came out a couple years ago? Mm-hmm. It was terrible. It was so bad. I can't remember the name of it, but it was so lame. It was so bad.
Catwoman solo projects have been kind of terrible in general. They go into media. I don't know.
There's this desire to make all these things without the main character. We saw it with the Sony Spider-Verse. It's like we're going to make all these villain films, which was never a good idea. I mean, every fan from the beginning was like, I don't care about this character outside of Spider-Man being there. But all it takes is one hit. And they kind of hit with that first Venom movie, so they thought, we can keep duplicating this. And the next one fails, and they're like, but Venom did well. And the next one fails, and they're like, but Venom did well. And then Venom 2 comes out, and I assume Venom 2 did well because they made a Venom 3. But I saw Venom 2 in theaters, and I hated it, but I had a good time because I was amazed at how terrible it was.
Yeah.
And we were just shocked at every decision that was made in the movie. We're like, how many people signed off on this? So it was kind of like a fascinating study for us.
It's easy, despite what YouTube says. It's easy for these films to break even. Actually, easier than people think, because a lot of these films, they have other distribution, they have other ways to make money. So, if it's a medium movie like Venom 2, I don't think Venom 2 broke a ton of records. I think it was profitable in the theaters, as I recall. But then it had the aftermarket that dwell, and so you put a third one out. It's not. There's a volume game aspect to it, and So it's easy to get a sequel in a lot of cases.
And then you get to say that then you get to sell the trilogy box set.
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
For those people who are like, I must own the Venom trilogy.
Yeah.
Oh, if only it were a quadrology.
Look, it's got a triptych cover. They all connect.
You go in somebody's house, you see that Venom trilogy on the mantle. You're like,
oh, gee.
You
get a 1/6 scale right next to it, a sideshow.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the John Waters, philosophy of if you go to somebody's house and they don't own any books, don't sleep with them. This is
fair enough.
It's kind of the same thing here. If you go to someone's house and they have the Venom trilogy on their DVD shelf, don't sleep with them.
Don't sleep with them.
It also helped that Venom had the benefit of being cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you can find them on T-shirts. They had statuettes. You can find them in the zeitgeist. Maybe not as much as Spider-Man, but at least a percentage of exposure to the public in at large. Clayface, I don't get. Clayface without Batman just doesn't make any sense to me at all. That seems like they're just doing something just to do something, and I get the same impression it's going to go the same way as Kraven the Hunter. It's going to go the same way as Morbius. It's going to go the same way of a side character that really has no cultural footprint beyond the character that they are associated with. And without that main character, which is Batman, it's just a waste of time, and it's going to wind up being, it might be good in and of itself as a standalone, but will it really get you anywhere? Will it be memorable? Probably not.
Is it Matt Hagen or is it
I think it's Matt Hagen.
Is it?
I think it's Matt Hagen.
That makes more sense to me than Basil Karlo at this point, because I don't think that Basil Karlo works as well the further we get away from silent films. Like when they introduced him and he was a silent film actor, and that he had that whole origin, it just made a lot more sense to me than it does currently, where they're like, no, he's like a more modern actor, and you're like, this doesn't work anymore.
I love Kraven though, Kraven the Hunter, because that movie got me 25 million hits on Twitter. So
thinking like a business person. That's good.
Let's make more of those. Make more of those.
Kraven was funny to me. I've seen the meme now where they're showing the guy that played the chameleon. And the actor was really short, and they're like, so like chameleon could turn into really small versions of the other characters.
Yeah.
It's like if Perch showed up to dinner and with all of us, and he was like 2 feet shorter.
Yeah, I'm a very normal looking person. Imagine though if I would have been really weird, how awkward it would have been for all of you.
I mean, that would have been fun.
Nope, it would have been weird.
Since we're talking about superhero movies, my honorable mention will always go out to a movie I hated the first time I saw, and it's grown on me. It's Mystery Men from 1999 with Ben Stiller.
Oh, Mr. Furious.
Dude, that movie is so good. I mean, Greg Kinnear is actually a gem in that movie. Oh, wow. And so is Jeffrey Rush. I mean, that's what a great cast. And it is, most people are sleeping on that still.
Do not leave out Pee Wee Herman.
I know. Oh, gosh.
Paul Rubens was amazing in that film.
Everyone, William H. Macy.
It helps that almost everybody in that cast is B to A tier actors. Jeffrey Rush is an amazing actor. Ben Stiller is maybe not perfect, but he's got his moments. And the same thing with many of the William H. Macy's a fantastic actor. So you can't put a collection of fantastic actors together and have them go all in. And I think that's the difference with a lot of these films. When they go all in into the character, when they go all in the script, they don't hold back. They don't say this. They don't act like they feel like they know they're in a silly movie. When they really try to go in on it, that's where it makes a big difference. Hank Azaria, I see that in the chat too.
Hank Azaria is
oh yeah,
it was he really pulled that movie together, man.
I liked Wes Studi. I just like when he finally gets called out, where it's Ben Stiller's like, "Oh, what are you going to say? To go forward, we must first go back." To blah, blah, blah. It's like, not exactly. It's like so well done.
I saw it. I saw it.
Wes Studi also played. Wes Studi also played Sagat in the tour de force that was the Street Fighter movie
Yes.
with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, it was amazing. Such 90s glory. I love it.
A lot of these things age well, though, in the weirdest way, right? So as
Yeah.
we're all getting older, of course, so we do have that nostalgia aspect. But bad movies have a way of just being better with time. I do suspect, and I'd love to get your opinion on this. I was flying a couple days ago with someone, and they saw I was drawing something on the tablet, and they're like, "Oh, you comic book guy?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, I just watched the movies." I'm like, "Okay, I don't want to talk to anybody on a plane." I go, what's your favorite movie? The guy goes, Thor 2.
Oh,
and that was such an unexpected answer. Like I could have, like Captain Marvel would have been an easier answer. Birds of Prey would have been an answer. Thor 2 was the weirdest of all answers for me. Would that weirded you guys out too? It's like a sequel. And
that's out of nowhere.
Yeah, I found that the strangest possible answer I could have.
Retroactively, it is aged better than I expected when I saw it in the theater, because I did not much care for it in the theater, and it was like on the lower end of the ranking. But as Marvel continued to put out terrible movies, like it started to rise, and it got kind of the same treatment as the Star Wars prequels, where people saw the sequels and then went back and were like, maybe these weren't that bad.
Well,
like they get reevaluated.
That's the point that you're getting at, which is you don't know what's good unless you know what's bad.
Yep, that's it.
So, we've been rewatching Community at night.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this episode where Abed stands in line for the prequel showings at the mall theater. And he stands in the ticket line to stop kids from going to see the movies because these movies are terrible. And he's trying to save their childhood.
I didn't hate them at the time. I recognized that there was something off.
Yeah,
but I think that
we were
everybody,
really young.
Well, with the Phantom Menace too, like people went in, and everybody. I remember all of my friends coming out of the theater, and we kind of stood around the parking lot going, "Yeah, it was good. It was good, wasn't it?
It was okay. It was okay.
Was it good? It's like it ended on a high note with the whole Darth Maul thing, but and so like we're all kind of like hyped for that. But then at the same time, you had but then there's the Anakin I'll try spinning. That's a good trick thing going on at the same time, and that was worse for me than the Gungans running around, like Jar Jar doing his comedy bits. Like the Anakin stuff was just way worse for me than Jar Jar ever was. And then, but you did that thing where you're like, maybe I need to see it again to really like, and then you watch it again, and you're like, oh no, this is bad, isn't it?
It was one of those movies where you come out and you look at your friends and you go, "Did we like that? Did we like that?" Oh.
But at this point,
I feel about that.
I'll take "Did we like that" over the first 5 minutes of Last Jedi, where I was like, "I hate this."
Oh,
and
God.
I never recovered. Like at no point did that opinion change.
I came out of that movie and said to Dave, like, I feel like someone just pissed on my childhood's leg. That's how I feel. Like someone just, like a dog just came up and hiked their leg and just urinated all over my childhood's leg.
Marked their territory.
Yes.
Well,
but were your expectations subverted?
The prequels benefit from the benefit of time and nostalgia.
20-year glass.
Some people grew up with somebody were kids when they saw it, like small kids, and they love Jar Jar Binks and they love the droids and everything else. So with time, they sort of grew up with it. It was sort of indoctrinated in a good way or not, depending on your point of view, into their psyche of like, oh yeah, I love that when I was a kid. So that's a benefit. But I think I see too many people trying to hold that up as an example of like every bad movie you see now in 10 years will be appreciated as actually being good. You just didn't realize it. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
We've hit the 10 years on Force Awakens, and nobody's
well,
and that was a movie that a lot of people liked at the time.
I have friends in that movie. I have friends, Battlefield Earth, oh my God. I have friends who are in those movies and they hate them. 10 years later, they're like, why did I do this? No, this is bad. And can we all just notice how soothing Perch's voice is? Like, he has the best radio voice I have ever heard. It is so soothing. Like, can you read to me books while, like, on tape? So I can for me to sleep at night. Like that
Yeah.
would be very helpful.
Like mayonnaise ingredients, you know.
No, I want
anything.
I want Perch doing the late night dedications that would come into like the radio stations.
Well,
Where
that's
he's like,
my other channel. I just read porn. That's the other channel. Nobody's found it.
you do the visual description, like the audio. Like if you go like, man, I really need a closed captioning on this porn.
That's
you know,
And
you can turn on
then he flips her over.
He's joking. Perch is joking, but
I'm
I'm constantly surprised by Perch's encyclopedic knowledge of vintage porn stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I want more Christy Canyon references, please.
Oh boy!
Actually, Perch, if I could get you, there's the audio description of the Acolyte where they're talking about the bad guy coming out of the water and her like looking at his like rippling buttocks or whatever the.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, maybe rippling buttocks is not a good term, but they're talking about about the I want the Perch audio description of that scene, just word for word.
I screw myself on a regular basis for a while, and I can't explain why. There's no logic to it. Early in the channel, I thought it was funny to mispronounce the creators' names, and I did that because two creators unnamed would get really irritated by that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of a joke back and forth between us. And somehow this is why I call Ryan North Peter North on a regular basis, and it's stuck now in my head, and I can't.
Oh no!
It doesn't stop. So I did this yesterday in a video I was recording in the car, and I'm like, God damn it, Peter North writing Fantastic Four. Anyway,
I mean, to be fair, I think that's probably. I mean, I wouldn't even question it because.
Listen, I have the most unattractive laugh, and it's you just pulling it right out of me every single time.
We're having fun. I mean, we got to do something to. Hopefully, Wes is able to see us here. We're cheering him up too. And
he's watching us butcher the rotation though. We've got one intro, and we are.
That's not true. I introduced Gabe. I introduced Perch. I introduced you. I said hi to Dylan.
Oh.
I asked Dylan if he was doing anything on his channel. Like I could have engaged him about UFC, but I don't think there's anything happening, and I wouldn't know if there would.
Well, we got to Dylan.
We're having
what are you doing on your
African
channel?
Champ this weekend. That's what's happening on the UFC.
All right, tell me a little bit about that, Dylan, because I have no idea.
So we've got Kamaru Usman is going to be fighting Dricus du Plessis. Kamaru Usman is a Nigerian guy that moved to the U.S. when he was like 5 years old and claims like he was the real African champ. Dricus du Plessis is a white guy from South Africa that lives and trains in Africa, and he said, "I'm the first and only real African champ," because all the other guys that claim it like moved when they were kids and never go back and like live in these Western countries, and so people were calling him racist for saying that. Now he gets to fight one of them, so it's the battle of the real African champ, Dricus du Plessis or Kamaru Usman. So that's what's happening tonight.
Well, let me know when the winner fights Obafemi, and then we'll be there.
Love Obafemi.
Got that lock.
See, that sounds interesting. Like now I kind of want to watch because it's like there's a backstory.
Yeah,
it's not just guy A is going to fight guy B. There's a whole whole fight of honor going on. I guess
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I guess we can hear from the peoples here, as Wes would say. So what do we got here? Fan cheered for $5 says, "Good morning from Texas. Very interested in this topic. Plus, of course, Team Danny, comics and everything. Hashtag Save Stargate International Event Weekend." And then a little bullhorn.
Hey, where from Texas? Throw it in the chat. There's a couple events coming up in the next couple weeks that I'm trying to get some local people into.
Yeah. Tell us where you're at in Texas. It's
we're gonna have a meetup in the parking lot at the Piggly Wiggly in Harlingen.
There is no Piggly Wiggly in Texas. Jesus,
it's HEB, sir. It's HEB.
So much better.
I have been to Texas multiple times, and somehow every time I'm like, "Hey, can we stop at the Buc-ee's?" It's like there's no time.
Well,
so I've never been
to Dallas. There's no I mean, you have to drive way out into the middle of
Hills with
Eyes territory to get to one.
No, I mean I passed one when I was at Bell County. I've been to Houston. I've been to it's like somebody for the love of God, take me to a Buc-ee's.
I like Whataburger. Oh gosh, it's gonna.
I love Whataburger. I love it. Listen, someone tried.
It's good.
Someone tried to tell me that In-N-Out Burger was better. So when I was in Burbank, I went to In-N-Out Burger, and it was not better than Whataburger. It was not better. The fries tasted freeze-dried for some reason, and they were fresh. Like, how did you make that happen? The fries were terrible. Whataburger is 10 times better than In-N-Out. I don't care what anybody says. You will never convince me otherwise. Whataburger, I love you.
That's true.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna kick Danny.
Definitely true.
You can kick. You're gonna kick a disabled woman on.
Yes.
Right ahead.
Here
You don't
comes
get to play the
intersectional
you don't get to play the Magneto card with me. If you guys know what there's an old Dorkly bit where it's like if Magneto was in the MCU and they do the we've got a Hulk, and then Magneto's like, oh yeah, big strong man beat up on the elderly Holocaust survivor, and Hulk's like, oh, Hulk not comfortable with this.
It's so funny.
That's a
That
lot
was a-
there. All right.
That was a good
Fucking
one.
Cobra Commander right there.
All right, for a Jog Live for $5 says, so Perch, since we know the Disney-ification of Marvel is coming, does that mean any classic costumes of characters will probably go away as well from the 90s?
Classic costumes in 90s. I mean, that hurts me just a little bit. Just
Go!
Okay. No, I think you'll see kind of the opposite, because one thing about Disney is that they do like the classic and the vault era because they mine money out of it. So I'm not saying they will do it well, but you will see them tapping into these eras where they think there's money, and they know there's money in the 90s. So you will see again.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean they're going to do it well, but you'll see it.
I mean, I watched the first 2 episodes of the new X-Men 97 season, and I did not enjoy the first 2 episodes, so I've got to
I have
check in on
things
the
to
rest.
say about that.
The pacing is, for those who are in the chat are going to be like, what? The pacing is weird. The story so far is boring. The adaptation of the Phoenix and Cyclops stuff, not interesting. The second episode being all about Jubilee, super not interesting. The headphones trope was kind of like played out when they were doing it in Blade 3 or Blade Trinity. So like putting on the headphones and then fighting. Because what you want to do when you're in a fight with a bunch of armored guys is you want to go ahead and cut down on one of your senses so you can't hear people.
Yeah. See, that is not what Bo planned. He wrote and had all the animatics done for season 2. But you notice it took him over 2 years to put it out. That is not the order. First of all, it's not the episode order at all. What we have as episode 4 kind of was episode 1 originally. But the structure and the order is totally different from what Bo had planned. And some of the episodes themselves, like parts of them, have been like reorganized and things cut and new scenes put in. And between us and the flies on the wall, he's not exactly thrilled about it because that was several years of his life that a lot of his work that he put into it, and he is passionate. Very passionate about it. He is a fan of X-Men, and he loves the fans. He wants to deliver to the fans what they love, what they want. He knows how much everyone loved season 1, and they loved season 1 because of how well put together it was. And Disney just sees, they just loved it because it was X-Men. They don't.
Well, I mean, there are certainly those people. Like I see people who are like, you're nuts. It's great, and I'm like, it's not though. It's not even as good as the first season. And one of the things that I really noticed in this second season is that the action is very like chopped and truncated. So there's a fight between X Factor and X Force in episode 2, and I'm like, how did you make this boring and cramped? And like characters will move towards each other and you won't see any kind of like impact, or you won't see like just then all of a sudden another character is falling and you're to take it like that they got hit, but you didn't see the impact. And I'm like, thinking back to just the opening of the first season with Cyclops and that great action scene, or Nightcrawler and Wolverine fighting the Sentinels in the mansion, and you're seeing like them use their powers in tandem and kind of like become this fighting duo, and how fluid and beautiful that was. And so far, you know, and like I said, I'm only 2 episodes in, but so far I am not getting any of that from this second season.
Episode 4 is the best one, and it's really, really good because that's the one that was pretty much left solidly bow.
And that was supposed to be the first episode, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
That was supposed to be the first one.
Would that be like a standards and practice thing, though? Like actually showing like point of impact on a punch or something? Because is it technically a kids show? Is it marketed that way?
It's on X-Men 97. It's on Disney Plus. They could, you know, they can play with that. It's not like it has to.
I mean, it's gay. It's at the teen to 20s market.
Okay,
where they're shooting.
And it is to this day. X-Men 97 season 1 is the most popular. It is the best performing property that Disney has on the entire app
that they own.
The best thing. Like out of all their movies, TV shows, everything, it is the best performing anything.
No, I believe it. I believe it because the only thing anybody else comes to Disney Plus for is Bluey, which they don't own. Sandal 1615 for $1.99 says, "Give Perch a camera, but cover his face with a fence."
That's a deep cut. Well done.
Oh yes, well done.
I would like that. I'd like to see Perch just like above, like
with a bucket hat, bucket hat.
Just peeking over, like pretty good suggestion. Fan cheered for $2 says Danny's channel content, and then a bunch of emojis that I don't understand because I'm old. And says her farm pet visits.
My family pets, like the cat. Remy LeBeau came in a few minutes ago, and I was stopping him from jumping on the keyboard. But we have Remy LeBeau, who of course, obviously, Gambit, our kitten who is 7 weeks old, and then we have my daughter's puppy, who's 1.5 years, Olive, and then our dog who is almost 11 years old, a Shih Tzu named Titus, we call Tiny, and then we have several chickens. And occasionally you will either hear or see them. So because I have no door.
Well, fan cheered. No chickens in your emojis, you bigot. Chuck Live for $5 says, so just shout out to check all the channels for the panel members. Oh, that's very kind. To remind people that everybody has a channel. Gabe and Perch, for all members, what is your latest topics? Okay, so let's just go through it here. Gabe, what are your latest topics?
Well, obviously go to the channel. You're going to see what's been published upcoming this week. I've got 2 videos that are in development. One is going to be talking about the top heaviness of DC's market share with respect to Absolute Batman. In other words, there's a lot in the Batman bucket, especially the Absolute Batman bucket, and how that is creating an imbalance that will eventually need to be addressed. The second one is a little bit of a deeper dive into understanding why comics that hit really hard on issue number 1 fall off really severely right around issue 3 or 4. And just taking a look at the different factors that go into that particular type of circumstance. And I've got a few more that I'm playing with down the road. Plus, if you're interested in more of the written content, we just published our weekly newsletter this morning at 9:30, talking about the topic that we're talking about now, which is Marvel's big moves this week and the potential implications of that going forward. So a lot of the stuff that I'm going to probably mention today as we get into the main topic are reflected in the newsletter. So if you go to comicalopinions.substack.com, shameless plug, you're going to see a lot of that in written content, maybe even 1 or 2 points that we probably won't get to.
Are you going to be discussing at any point the fact that Daredevil, a book that no one is talking about, is the absolute Batman of Marvel, according to Bleeding Coral?
Let me state it like this, and as with as little conspiratorial tone as I can. I don't know Rich Johnston. We've like maybe replied to each other's stuff or whatever on X or whatever. I've never interacted with him in any personal whatever way. I am somewhat convinced at this point that he reads my reviews and then he publishes articles to try and counteract my criticism. Because there is no way. There is no way anybody is reading Stephanie Phillips's Daredevil, especially the latest issue that came out, and said, this is Marvel's answer to the Absolute Universe. No way. I'm sorry. That was horrible. That is a horrible comic. was a horrible series. So I don't know what he's smoking, but I think he just does it to kind of spite people, which is, if you know Rich.
Oh yeah,
in his prior actions, it sounds very much like Rich. But yeah, ridiculous.
Rich is like the Rich, the Ryan Johnson of comics. You know, he's just like, I'm such a delightful little imp.
I mean, his biggest focus every day is making sure he's not violating his restraining order, and that's not a joke. And then I think in general, it's fishing for, it's just fishing for drama. I mean, it's Stephanie for the Daredevil comic. You know, we're still in this zone where you had the initial hype and you had some promotion, you had incentives, and it's still in that bubble.
The blind bags.
Pre-orders are 3 to 4 months behind orders of what gets on the shelf. So I've done those numbers videos a ton. You see the fall off exactly when the comics catch up on the shelf to the pre-orders, and that's we're just living that.
Yeah,
it won't be the same.
I guess you got to have some content to put out, right? So just say something crazy and get people talking. And look, we're talking about it. Sully, what are you talking about over on the Chowda channel?
Me over at the Reverend Sully Network, I get a weekly comic book show, like clockwork, pre-recorded live at my local comic book shop every Wednesday. I go to pick up my poll list. The staff is kind enough to let me, shoot some content there and talk to them as well. I never get them on camera, but you can hear them in the background on the microphone, and we have comic book shop style conversations. I go and I show you all the new releases on the shelves. They look at all these variant covers and stuff. And we go through the dollar boxes as well, of which will give you the most perspective on your own personal collection. I swear the dollar boxes are just like mind blowing. Like, oh my God, this looks like all of my comics. So all of my comics don't have this freaking 9.6 collector's value. You know what I mean? And the two things I've talked about the past couple of weeks, one has been the fabricated faux outrage over the Odyssey. I think it's a bit much. And I'm a huge fan of the Odyssey, and I am a huge fan of Christopher Nolan. So I will eventually see this movie, and I'm going to have an opinion. But, I mean, a lot of this, they went into the paint with ad hominems. I've got the actors, and I'm like, oh, geez. Some of it was just outrageous. But this week I'm talking about DC covers, variant covers. I'm trying to find a better vocabulary to elucidate my displeasure with DC variant covers, the cardstock variant that is over the A cover. And I'm like, that's not a unique printing. What does that do for scarcity? What are they trying to sell us? Literally. I mean, and so it's additive. It's not really, it doesn't fulfill me. It's great art. Sure. It's $1 more. You are getting a variant cover per se, but it's not a unique publication, So I just have issues with those issues. And so that's on my channel. So come on by and give a subscribe, smash that like button, leave a comment. It's the best way for the algorithm to suggest this program to other viewers.
I like that you said, I need to improve my vocabulary. And then the next word out of your mouth is elucidate.
Elucidate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Increase your wordiness with Eric O'Sullivan. Speaking of Eric O'Sullivan, yesterday I was packing Doomface orders like you do, and I came across an Eric O'Sullivan that I packed up. So that is in the mail today.
Very nice. Thank you, Aaron. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Perch, what did you record 6 months ago that's coming up on the channel soon?
Yeah, I don't know. It does. Yeah, a lot of. I had this guy really trying to start shit with me, and you actually. He was trying to start a fight between the two of us.
Really?
It was for a video that was recorded like 4 months ago, and I'm like, I'm not going to go back and listen to my video to understand what I was saying. At that point, you got to be kidding me. This isn't real. But anyway,
what did he think? What did he think that we would fight about?
I don't know. We were arguing about something. Apparently, if you have a difference of opinion, it's a blood feud in comics YouTube.
2 years ago, Aaron and Perch had a back and forth on Twitter, and Perch finally did a video on it, and I'm mad.
People are like, "Oh, what's this blind item?" It's not that blind. I'm not that subtle. You can usually tell who I'm pissed at. There's
no, and you're allowed to disagree with me if you know, or think that I'm wrong or have more information than I do on a topic and correct me. That's
thank you for giving me permission. No, I'm kidding.
I don't have any problem with that. That's not going to be a.
Other people have different opinions. Anyway, usually I'm in a news cycle now. I'm going to do news in the morning, and then in the afternoon I'm doing a comic review. I came up with a bunch of old comics, and so kind of in the spirit of things I wish other people would read, I've got these videos on things like Batman Absolution and Hawk World and The Depths and Triumph and Torment. These books that don't really get talked about a lot, but are pretty damn good if you go back and look at them. So we'll do that. And then I do have the John Byrne interview coming up and a couple others that I think you guys are going to like.
Oh, very nice. Looking forward to that. Dylan, what do you got coming up on your channel?
I'm working on some stuff right now, but the last thing I posted was the stream last night where I talked about all the comics that came out this week and the Batman 2 being delayed and the state of the DCU right now with because we got the confirmation of the Jimmy Olsen Gorilla Garage show and stuff like that. So, the Jimmy Olsen Gorilla Garage show is something that I could have been excited about if there were a DC universe around it that I was excited about. It's just so slapdash. If we establish anything,
it's cool. I get pushing people into the deep end. We talked a little bit about that storytelling wise, that sometimes you can do that, but I feel like we're 2 movies in and we're a couple shows in and there's no clear direction. And so when they're like, we're doing a Jimmy Olsen Gorilla Garage show, you're like, before a Batman or Wonder Woman project, before a Flash project? Really?
There was a show on NBC. It was like a sitcom. I guess maybe like 5 or 6. Or it was a few years ago called Powerless. And what it was,
it was so good.
I watched the first couple episodes and this is good. Basically, what it is it's like a business company, insurance company. It was kind of like damage control for the DC universe.
Yes,
but it was an office sitcom, and what it was. It didn't start. It was very clunky and sort of super corny because it was a comedy. It was a sitcom, but after a while, it started to grow on you. It's like I liked that this was Danny Pudi from Community and some of these other characters. And
Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk was the salty, sour cousin of Bruce Wayne. So he was always complaining about Bruce. So the reason I bring that up is because I could see how this Jimmy Olsen Garage show could be like that in the sense that you have a small, maybe more lighthearted opportunity to talk about the less used DC characters in a fun way, where you could expand the universe in a fun way without having to do a dedicated streaming show or without having to do a full-blown movie. You can bring in lesser characters like Blue Devil. You could bring in an opportunity to have a Jonah Hex cameo, if they do something with Chime. So it's one of those things where it was more like Brave and the Bold cartoon in tone, in the sense it was kind of goofy, kind of corny, but I think that would have been a good vehicle to do something like that, where you can make the DC universe feel bigger and have some cameos and do those kinds of things. So in that sense, I think it could work, but to your point, it's too soon. They haven't established the infrastructure of the universe yet. And it is a universe. They call it a universe. They have to establish a base, and they haven't done that yet. If they had that base, I think that could be the good opportunity to make that show work. As it is right now, it feels out of place.
Exactly. And to piggyback off what you're saying, first of all, I was kind of arguing the point last night with someone on my channel that there's been no solid anything yet for the DCU. Nothing has truly been established, and nothing that the audience has agreed on. And we have to agree. We have to say that, yes, this feels connected. We enjoy this. We like this. Nothing's connected except for Supergirl and Superman, and we hate it.
And just for clarification, I'm one of only 4 existing people who actually is a fan of Blue Devil. So for me, that works out.
But on top of that, the Jimmy Olsen show could be great if they did it episodic. As long as it was episodic, think of it like a funny unsolved mysteries type thing, kind of like a mixture of that Powerless show with unsolved mysteries, but on the internet with Jimmy Olsen as the host.
There's a way to do it, but it's just weird to be coming into a universe where you're like, okay, we did Superman, and you're like, all right, that makes sense, and then then we did Supergirl, and you're like, that makes less sense, and it's
especially the way you did it.
Peacemaker and it's like I'm just waiting for James Gunn to be like, in our next big project, we got a script. It's so good, I can't believe it. We have to make it. Ambush Bug, and you're like, what? You're like, what are you building here?
Ambush Bug would actually be a great addition to that Jimmy Olsen show.
He actually would.
That would be a perfect fit for that show.
And if you lean into the Jimmy Olsen kind of comics, which were goofy, like Superman's pal, it's like now he's Turtle Boy. I'd be like, all right, sweet. Like this is fun, but I'd kind of like also to have a universe around it that I care about.
The challenge for me is less about the characters and it's more about the genre. The issue that with James Gunn, the universe that I think he has right now, is that you had Superman, which was more or less kind of a tentpole film. Okay, fine. But every project since then, the primary theme of the show has been trauma. With Supergirl's trauma, with Peacemaker's trauma, with Creature Commandos' trauma, with Clayface, we don't know what it is yet, but you kind of dove right into that place. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so the lack of putting big characters up on the fence is maybe an issue, but the bigger issue is the tone is 75% trauma and dealing with it, and you put one movie out, 2 movies out with that, but this early to go into that is a choice, and not
Green Lanterns looks somber and
if anything, that's the one. And I saw somebody's post about the writers, and I get all that, but that one in many ways could be the one that best is applied to that, I guess. But I don't know. It's not that the genre is a bad one. It's just you 3 in a row now. That's it's tough.
And the thing about the trauma, the thing about trauma being the thing, is that you can do it. You can have their issues being they have a traumatic past, but they keep making it as, like I'll use Supergirl as an example. She's just this barfly who doesn't want to be a hero. It's this deconstruction. She's depressed. She's petty. She's pissy. She's a murderer. It's the complete opposite of who she is. She's not well adjusted. You can give them this traumatic past without doing that, because the point of Supergirl was she did have a traumatic past, but she was well adjusted. She was an example of how you can deal with that well. That was actually the point of Woman of Tomorrow, is that Ruthie learned how to adjust and learned how to deal and grieve with her traumatic issues, while by following Kara's example. And they stole that and turned it into this.
I suspect some people are going to hate this idea or let this analysis. But if you're looking for a roadmap of how to do the DCU, the blueprint was already established by the MCU versus phases 1 through 3.
It was.
Yeah.
When you want to be successful, you do what other successful people have done.
Exactly.
They did it. I mean, you can quibble over phases 4 and beyond and where MCU is now. That's fine. But if you look at the first 3 phases, that's a perfect setup for how the DCU could go and be done well, and then build, and then eventually come to a place where they culminate in these large things. And you can even make it bigger, because I think you have a greater range of characters to pull from. And so by Gunn basically leaning into the Tom King method of storytelling, he's painted himself into a misery corner. And
I have said this for 10 years. I've said it for 10 years, that they're trying to beat the MCU at the MCU's game, but they want to change the rules. You can't do that.
You copy the MCU.
Yes.
Well, you also have the perfect blueprint, Gabe, in how to present the characters and make them likable and connect with audiences in the DC animated universe.
I think I said this before, like in a prior stream, is one of the things that the MCU did very right is they had these individual characters. They built them up sometimes in trilogies, and they eventually interconnected them. But one of the things that they did behind the scenes is they used the sizzle reel, which is the end of each film, to establish an anchor character. And that anchor character was Nick Fury. He was like attached to each one of these little individual pieces to create like a tendon that connected the individual muscles that made it work together. Guess what you do with the DC universe? You establish Batman. It sounds cliche for everybody else, but at the end of the day, that's what people want. They want you to eventually get to a big Justice League. And who is the connective tissue character that makes that work? If you think in the Justice League Unlimited type of cartoon series and everything else, Martian Manhunter.
That's a good
establishment because he's a shapeshifter.
Yes.
You could use different. You can use different actors. You could establish him as just basically I'm from another world and I'm observing what's developing on Earth, and then eventually he brings them together, and you could say like the first phase is the White Martian invasion, and the second phase is something else, and build it up from there. The blueprint was sitting in front of them, but because James Gunn was so desperate to be different. and to kind of lean on what he did with Guardians, he basically said, "Well, I'm not going to do what they did because we want to be our own thing." But he wound up chucking out the successful blueprint in the process.
Yeah, no, that's
I
exactly
completely
right.
agree.
All right, so Callum for $5 says, "Don't watch The Odyssey, please don't. It's just the same boring feminist deconstruction slop. The message is just males are evil." I don't have any plans on seeing The Odyssey. I will eventually watch it when it's free somewhere. But I was like from the trailer, even before all the controversy started to hit. I didn't know if I was going to see it, and there's this weird thing going online right now where you see people going like, "Oh, people are finally catching up to me. Nolan was never good." And it's like, come on, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. He has made some amazing films, and he's made some films that I thought were absolute crap. I think Tenet is trash.
Sold $127 a month.
Here's what I recommend you do. Do not watch The Odyssey until you get Perch's daughter do a review of the film.
There you go.
I love that
movie. Yeah.
But you got to tell her, Perch. You got to say, "Hey, much like your dad sees every movie, if you want to be a serious critic, you need to watch it, even if you're not interested in it." Because honestly, I would love to hear the review from her.
Tom Holland's in it.
Ask things like, "Hey, what do you think of this Greek warrior running like a girl?"
That the older daughter might be the one that goes for the Tom Holland draw, but the younger one, no way.
All right. So Sandal 1615 for $1.99 says, "Condolences to Wes and family. Prayed for them." Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm sure I know Wes appreciates it. It was a really sudden thing yesterday. He hit us up and said, "Hey, I can't do the show," and so we are happy to come in and do our best for him. But thanks to everybody keeping him in your thoughts and your prayers, him and his family. Jag Live for $2 says, "I hate Absolute Green Arrow. Why is it 12 issues?" I guess the short answer to that, Perch, would be because the initial it sold well enough to justify those issues.
That's right.
And we like round numbers.
It overperformed, and so it gets more.
So whether we'll see the drop off, we will see. Federico Della Casa says, "Hi guys, I've got a friend that works as an actor in UK, and he said he will start filming a Batman movie over there. Don't know if it's Matt Reeves. I mean, it would kind of
probably.
That film does have shooting locations in the UK.
Yes.
So that makes sense." Callum says, "On the subject, at least CB can eat 24/7. So we're talking about CB Cebulski there. Yep, he will. He'll be able to get all the sushi rolls that he wants. This is not a new development. So you're saying whether he's in Japan or whether he's in New York,
the city that never sleeps
is not.
No, it's tough, and not to go completely on a side rail here, because there's a couple people that I make kind of cruel jokes over, and I realize that, and I'm sure it's not very nice, but some people have really earned it, and this is one of them, and it's always been surprising to me that there's certainly the quote unquote villains of comics that a lot of people. Yeah, like Dan Slott and some of his antics, you go at him, but CB's not a very nice person behind the scenes. It's always funny how he seems to have gotten away with kind of a lot of pretty lousy shenanigans he's done for people. But anyway.
Well, when you're not in the spotlight because you don't actually do anything, you don't get like, Dan DiDio was always out there in the public and like taking the heat, even for things that were not, that were corporate decisions, but he's like, "I'm the guy. I got to be out there. I'll take the heat for it." Cool. And I mean, the last thing I heard from CB was he was like, "Remember when we sold 1 million comics? I'm kind of like feeling like doing that again." And then the big announcement was J.J. Abrams' son is writing a Spider-Man book.
Oh. That's such a terrible announcement. I remember that video. It was supposed to be a big surprise, and it came out, and everybody was like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah,
it's about his son.
Listen, Don't tee us up for a major announcement and then deliver a wet fart was the lesson, of that. You just come out on stage and just rip it and then walk off. Like that was basically what happened. So yeah, I look forward to him being shuffled off. I see him every year, Perch, at San Diego. He always comes shuffling down the aisle with some assistant whose arms are loaded with the things that CB is buying, and he just. I mean, I don't like to judge people just on a look, but he just always looks so smug and so satisfied with himself that I don't even want to talk to him.
I just think he's treating creators poorly. I mean, there's some legitimately good people out there that I think he's treated pretty poorly.
Yeah, par for the course in the industry, I'm afraid. Daisuke says, do you think that they are attempting to do what they did with Joker? Do you think that Joker was bad for the industry because of copycats? I don't know what this is in reference to.
The movie.
I think it's reference to the Clayface movie. The
Joker
movie.
Yeah, the Joker that divorced from Batman that won Oscars.
I think they're hoping for that.
It wasn't even the Joker. It wasn't even Joker. It was
it was just one of those inexplicable things. It just caught the zeitgeist at the time, and people went to see it in numbers that were shocking.
Yeah, it made money, and so they will do more until they stop making money, and then they'll stop doing more.
Yeah, this is why you guys keep getting live action Disney remakes. It's because they fail. Then Stitch makes $1 billion, and they go, "There is money in this," and then they do 3 more that fail.
That is 1,000% right. So Lion King, Stitch, and that will buy them 3 or 4 more, and then these movies, including Moana, has the airline deal lined up, has some of the streaming deals lined up. We've got already, overseas, I think what I've heard, about a $40 million buy-in for streaming rights for a year. So they're going to keep doing it because they're going to keep hoping that every 4th or 5th knocks it out of the park. And that's the way the business works. And it's dumb, but there you go.
I'm thinking like a live action Toy Story would have stop motion of real action figures like Ray Harryhausen style.
It's going to be fascinating when the
horrifying.
Yeah. I mean,
that would be horrifying.
No, go ahead, Perch. I want to hear what you
No, when the Pixar sale deal kind of evaporates, it'll be interesting to see what happens to those movies, because technically they can't make the live action right now, but they can in the future. I mean, I think it's 3 more years. We'll see.
I can't wait to see a live action Toy Story where it's just a CG Woody, but they've mapped Tom Hanks' actual face onto the Tim Allen's actual face onto the characters. It's going to be a horror show. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
But to the question though, the Joker also had the benefit of being wonderfully shot and acted. Joaquin Phoenix is a fantastic actor. Number 2, it basically set itself up as a Joker origin story, pseudo come Batman prequel, because you do see like Thomas Wayne in there, you do see a young Bruce Wayne, those kinds of things. So it wasn't completely disconnected and on its own. It was just basically saying this is the precursor to what comes after. With Clayface, first of all, Clayface is very little known to the normies compared to Joker. Most people just don't, unless they're into comics, they just don't know. And second, we have already had that Clayface origin story, so there's very little room for surprise unless they go with a radically different departure to what they want to do with the character. So it sort of depends on how they set it up more than anything else.
Yeah, I agree. And they're trying to tap into this obsession kind of backrooms type genre to see if they can hit there, but we'll see.
All right, Federico Del Casa says, besides Kia Asamiya on X-Men in the 90s, I don't think CB will find any first-tier mangaka that will work for Marvel. My Hero Academia is already better than X-Men. That's an interesting point. What do you think about that, Perch? Do you think that shuffling CB over to Japan is just kind of like the transitional period of saying goodbye to him as an employee?
100%. It's way cheaper to do this and to kind of establish some deals. He's not going to be looking for talent. He's looking to kind of get some of these business deals lined up. He'll be shepherding a little bit of the webtoon arrangement that Disney signed last year. So that, he'll be doing a little bit of that, but it's infinitely cheaper to do this than to give him a severance package based on where he was.
Yeah, there you go. Sandal 1615 says, I lulled in the theater during episode 3's. No. Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it, but and I didn't hate the prequels. I think the difference between the prequels and the sequels, aside from the fact that you still have the singular vision of the creator involved, and not a film made by committee. but you also had
Yeah,
amazing content around the prequels. So even if you weren't enjoying the story that you were being told in the prequels, you could go and you could read the Dark Horse comics by Ostrander and Dersema that, you know, were telling great stories in the Clone Wars. You could read, you know, the Matthew Stover novels and you know, the novels that were coming out at the time, you know, Karen Travis doing Clone Wars stuff and you know, just all the great like Republic Commando stuff we were getting that surrounded it, that made the prequels feel more interesting. You know, I was all in on the action figures because I was enjoying all of the ancillary Star Wars product so much.
I love the Infinities imprint because I love what if stories, and those were just like made just for me. I'm like, oh, this is so good, you know. Well, kind of. I mean, like the reveal of Darth Vader in the white armor at the end of the Return of the Jedi one. Spoilers. It's only 30 years old.
Sandal says only real Ryan North content is dinosaur comics. I will just jump past that with my a quote from a former friend of mine who said, "Friends don't let friends read dinosaur comics." Sandal said everything Marvel did did wrong was done intentionally.
Yes.
I don't. I mean, I don't know that.
I don't know.
See, here's the thing. I don't think that that's true because the fact is, here when you're kind of like when you've been on the inside, and Perch can definitely speak to this. It's nobody's trying to fail. It's just that people with really bad ideas get put into positions of power that they don't deserve.
I mean,
That's what I'm.
true.
They put the wrong people in position. They're like, this is what we need to do. This is what we want people to want.
Yeah, I think for sure. I mean, these are corporations, and so there is a certain level of failing your way to the top a little bit. I mean, it's not like there's this legion of really super talented portfolio managers that are chomping at the bit to be the editor-in-chief of Marvel, even though it is a Disney job. They're just, you know, your pool is the industry. But there's also a reason why Whacker, and if there's one area that I felt slightly disgruntled with this week, and was I had egregious arguments with a number of people, maybe some of the people on this channel in the past, but that Whacker was going to clearly be the next editor-in-chief, and people were aggressively arguing with that. But it was so clear he was going to be that person based on the relationship he had with Disney, kind of all of that work. I mean, his whole history just served it up to him on a platter. It was super obvious. It was never going to be Brevoort. I mean, for God's sake.
Oh God, no.
So you know but that's to the point. You get these people who politically kind of maneuver their way within the organization, and then they make these choices based on kind of what they know, and what they know is limited at times. And so they are trying to do what they think is right, but their business knowledge, their scope of the industry is so super low.
Yeah. Next is Fan Cheered said, love Danny's playful shared disability. Danny, share again how you fell in love with comic books and character in comic books you're writing with same. We will touch back on that. I'm gonna veto that at the moment just because we've got a lot of chats to get through before we get to the main topic. But we will circle back around to that.
We should.
The Bastion battle was good.
Season 1, X-Men 97. Yes.
It was.
Mm-hmm. It's because you spelled Bastion as like the last Bastion, and then like it threw me. I was like, the Bastion battle. What character are we talking about? Also, Perch, invite for French Quarter grill meal.
Let's do it. I'll buy.
Very cool. Wraith7 says the other problem with the Gunn DCU is that most of it is R-rated. Gunn took all ages universe and turned it into mostly into a universe for adults. I think that is a problem.
Zack Snyder started that, though. I think, in all fairness,
no, Zack's stuff wasn't R-rated.
I thought it was hyper violent, not made for kids. I thought that it was specifically this is the DC universe set in the 21st century, post 9/11 world. And here's some hyper realism. This is what Metropolis would look like if Superman got into a fight in downtown. I respected the hell out of it. That visual, like, yeah, that level of collateral damage would happen to all of those skyscrapers. And like the cold open of Batman versus Superman with Bruce Wayne being on the ground level of that was really impressive too. But that was totally geared towards adults and hyper violence and hyper realism.
Well, there was a lot of destruction porn, which I don't have a problem with. I wouldn't have had a problem with in Man of Steel. And, you know, Dylan and I have talked about the fact that, like, we don't hate Man of Steel as much as, you know, I have a lot of problems with it, but, like, we don't hate it as much as, like, there's a lot of manufactured hate for it, I think, online, as there is with all these things. There's just people who make hating one thing their whole personality.
What?
So yeah, especially the Snyder Bros versus the Guntards or whatever they're calling themselves, calling each other. It's just like, to me, it's ridiculous. It's like it's just movies
Tribalism and it's
I'm with you on Man of Steel. I didn't super hate it, but I definitely think it's flawed. There's a lot of problems with it.
Yeah.
The main problem is, amidst all that destruction, Superman is really not trying to save that many people.
That's a whole stream about what's wrong with Man of Steel, but we'll pause that one. But with respect to the Gunverse, I think that the biggest, probably the most egregious example of why this was not thought out with respect to R-rated content, in my mind, is Creature Commandos. Now, the reason I think that's probably it's a cartoon, which would have appealed fantastically to younger audiences. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Those characters are perfectly suited for being toyetic, which means action figures, toy sets, all those things. And when you're trying to build out a universe where you have that, whether it's fair or not, that expectation of you want every film to be $800, $900 million, $1 billion, you have to appeal to the broadest audience possible. So if you totally position your content, whether it's the films or the shows or the cartoon, that some of this is really hard R, and some of this is like not R, but like totally not appropriate for young kids, like Supergirl, getting drunk and killing people and all that stuff. You wouldn't take a little kid to that, even if it is PG-13.
No.
No. So when you have this sort of total inconsistency, and all the more extreme stuff always skews super adult, then you're already blocking yourself off from basically family viewing. Even if there's some, maybe concerning elements for a little kid, you have to have a broader audience if you want those big bucks. I know Disney talks about the 4 quadrants all the time, and that's a little bit of a myth, but not entirely. In that you want to appeal to the biggest audience you can. If you're constantly pushing towards edgy, not everybody likes edgy. Right. Edgy generally will preclude you from bringing the younger audience. So the kids that like superheroes, the kids that understand Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman and all these things. So for Gunn to kind of go in saying, well, I'm just going to create the best stories I can with my edgy sensibilities, he's now blocked himself off from a portion of the audience I won't say intentionally, but by making that choice, he's now chosen to not make the biggest bang for his buck with the broadest audience possible. Creature Commandos, I think, is the worst example of how that could have been positioned for a really cool toys, action figures, comic books, all these things that would appeal to that younger audience, and then expand it out to the teens and what have you. But by going R and going edgy, he just basically shot himself in the foot with that.
We could have got some of those old toy commercials, like, it's G.I. Robot with his capture claw, like that would have been great. Mattel would have been loving it. Daisuke says, for $5, says DC's biggest disadvantage is their characters. These characters require the ability to tell mythos. Hollywood ideology bans them from that. What do you think of that, Dylan?
I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think so. I think you can still make good DC movies. I don't think that's the problem. I think right now it's just not getting the right filmmakers with the right characters. I think that's the issue. Just get that combo unlocked and you can make it. I don't think it's a big thing where Hollywood's not letting you make good DC movies.
Yeah, I think that James Gunn's just not a very good talent assessor when he's choosing.
Definitely.
And there's also a primary difference between Marvel and DC in that regard, because if you think about what Marvel characters are in the Marvel universe, with exceptions, it is very much rooted in science fiction. The primary Hulk, Captain America, all these characters are all based on some kind of science experiment gone wrong, and Fantastic Four and what have you. DC is more in the mythology line of things. There's sort of a genre mix, but their foundations are mythological, not so much science fiction as the MCU is. So you need to have, if somebody's going to lead that studio, you need somebody who understands that sensibility a bit more than I think James Gunn is leaning into at the moment.
Yeah. So Chuck Skills for $5 says, instead of the Odyssey, I'm going to rewatch Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Good.
Fantastic film. Fantastic choice.
It's a great one.
I recommend 2019's Ad Astra with Brad Pitt.
Oh my God! Shut up about Ad Astra.
We're talking about the Odyssey. We're talking about the Odyssey, and then this is the Odyssey for sci-fi fans. So, and it's probably better. You probably like it more. So,
And if you want an adaptation of the Odyssey that I think you will enjoy, even though there's some budgetary limitations, do the 1997 TV miniseries with Armand Asante. That's a great miniseries. People don't.
It's a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's reignited the conversation about that. That one's a lot of fun. And for those of you in the chat that don't know, because you've never seen Perch, he is a Dapper Dan man.
I am.
Yeah.
he does not use pop. Damn it!
It's not my pomade.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Sandal 1615 for $10 says, I watched the first couple of episodes of Star Wars Visions Season 3. Oh my God, there's a Star Wars Visions Season 3? That tells you how little interest I have in Star Wars, that I don't even know
They're
that.
good.
Where it's back in the hands of the Japanese studios.
Season's great, by the way.
Yeah, it's so you think I'd like it, Perch?
I don't know. It's good. I mean, the storytelling is good. I think yeah, sure. I think you'd like it. They're good.
Mm-hmm. It says the episodes were phenomenal. Star Wars isn't dead. U.S. creative pipeline is dead. That is probably true.
Yeah. I wish that we could look at more things. Either you're looking at it from a fan perspective or you're looking at it from the business perspective and almost separate the two. Because, I mean, it's very easy, and I think a lot of people do it. They'll watch Star Wars, and they can't kind of get out of their head how badly it's been fumbled at times. And it totally has. That's a true statement. But then stuff like this comes around is like legitimately good. And you need to be able to kind of pop that other piece out of your head and just enjoy the thing that's on the TV in front of you and then go back to the business. It's tough. But this season is, I think, suffering from that because I'm seeing people rip on it who have clearly never watched it. And it's legitimately good. And I do think the creators that are kind of in on this are, there's a passion to that storytelling. That's what comes across to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will check it out. I saw some of the stuff that like they did for the first season. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. But I was just in such a sour place with Star Wars. I did not check it out. Daisuke for $5 says DC characters here is I aspire to, but can never become. Marvel characters are the best version of me. I kind of get what you're saying, that the Marvel characters have a little bit more recognizable humanity, or at least have in the past, like for people to connect to. But I think that the idea of like Superman being a character that we should aspire to. One of the things that was said about Man of Steel was, people that were like really defending it were saying like, well, Zack Snyder wanted to give us a Superman that was more like us. And I'm like, well, I'm not really interested in a Superman that's more like us. I want us to aspire to be more like Superman. That's kind of what I want out of that character.
Yes. Yes. Aspirational characters. We need characters that we can look up to, that have
characters that do the right thing.
Right. That they're almost at this godlike level of good, that set this standard. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, why have we lost that? I blame Zack Snyder for it. It's not fair.
I think it's larger than Zack Snyder, but yeah, I think there's, he was so focused on like the gods aspect of the characters that like he kind of lost the humanity of them, I think.
Right.
Sandal 1615 says, thoughts on Southern Knights comics. Shout out to Henry Vogel. I emailed him because Amazon didn't have previews for the omnibus, color edition, or novels. He sent a detailed reply with sample pages.
Yeah.
Is anyone here familiar with Southern Knights?
Yeah. He's a good. There's some really good independent creators that are just good at just hustling really well like that, like Calico and everything that's going on there. There's some people who are really busting ass to actually get their business off the ground, and Henry's one of those.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you brought him up because I had not heard of Southern Knights. Now I will check them out. Speaking of independent comics and busting ass trying to get things done, we do have a sponsor this week. Unfortunately, with Wes, taking care of what he needs to take care of with his family, he left me the trailer in a folder, and I cannot upload it to the stream. So our sponsor this week is Unholy Nightmare #3, which is still in Kickstarter. So if you guys we'll do a little bit more with it next week, I think, since I can't upload the trailer this week, but a lot of you guys have seen the trailer, so just we will continually bring up Unholy Nightmare and
the
let
Tome
you guys
of Leviathan before Dr. Herbert West gets there first.
And then dinosaur noise that scares Sully. So the link to the chat for Unholy Nightmare is or the link to the campaign is in the chat, and I will post it there periodically. It should also be in the video description. So apologize to Drew for not being able to play the video, but I was not able to get that uploaded.
We got to bust through
next-
these chats, yeah. And also, there is a main topic I think we got to get to.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm trying to get through the super chats here. Pop
Yeah, I
Scripturalism
gotta-
for $5 says, hot take, Gunn would have been better in charge of a Vertigo DCU with Swampy, Constantine, Zatanna, etc. Not mainstream heroes with a mainstream audience. That is
I agree.
true.
I totally agree. I think they should.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
What do you say, Dylan? Smaller universe he's in?
Yeah, but I don't know necessarily Vertigo. I just don't feel like what he does fits with that. But yeah, definitely something more to the side and not the main stuff.
Yep, totally.
All right. Sandals 1615 says, does Perch have a Supergirl cup? Perch, do
No,
you?
I'm married.
Well done.
I'm good.
Hot take from Boogie Scumbag. That's a great name. I'd like to see more animated projects. Live action is not sustainable now. Along the lines, Public Enemies, Batman, Superman, Apocalypse. I would like to see other things of that quality, yes.
Nobody's really figured out animation in a big way yet. There's little attempts. I mean, regardless of what you think, what anybody thinks about the X-Men '97, it's profitable, it's working for them, but it's not. They haven't locked in an animation yet. Maybe Absolute Batman will do it. I don't know, but there is a lot of money to be made there. Clearly, it's being made in Japan. I'm not sure why it's so difficult here in the U.S.
I know he would never listen to this show, but Scott Snyder, we did defend him last week when someone said that like the pacing on some of the recent issues were off, and I of all people said like, well, he is working on that show. Maybe he's stretched a little thin.
Snyder definitely is.
And this is the last super chat, and then we can get to the topic. Exploding Pretty for $10 says, interesting week for Shonen Jump. The final chapter of Blue Box was paired with a one-piece TCG promo card. Resellers bought up the print supply. SJ is doing online orders for reprints of the issue.
Shueisha is so pissed off over this, and but it was kind of their own making. But yeah, this was a screwy thing. A lot of people are pissed about this.
All right, let's get to the topic at hand. The topic that was promised. Only in an hour and a half into the show, we could get to the main topic, which is Marvel announced this week that they are moving operations to Burbank, which means the usual things. It means certain employees will be offered packages to move. Whether or not they take them is up in the air. But CB is out. As we discussed earlier, he is being shuffled off to a position in Japan, which, as Perch pointed out, is cheaper than giving him a severance package. And Stephen Wacker will be the new EIC with operations in Burbank. Perch, you are the most connected on all of this. What do you think this means for Marvel?
It is, as some people point out, it is a lot of boring news. It literally is, because a lot of this is just corporate cost savings and consolidation. It was always going to go this direction. The New York office. I mean, some people have written into me going, "Well, are they going to change New York as being the center of the universe in the comics?" No, the vast majority of writers aren't in New York now. They're not going to change that, and the creators are all over the world at this point. And then also, one of my funnier takes I got somebody really, really upset going, well, now Marvel's going to go. So they're going to California. So they're going to be super woke and all the rest. It's like, yeah, they're leaving deep red New York City to go to liberal California. What are you talking about at this point? But it is a lot of these moves will be kind of quiet. The bigger moves did happen a couple months ago. The bigger change in leadership, Gabriel and Buckley out, how they're going to be handling these characters, kind of the steer into creating more value for Disney and leading into all that. That's going to be the bigger thing we're going to see play out over time. This just makes it easier for them to do that. And like I said earlier, Wacker has been kind of destined for this job for 5-6 years now. It's just, he's been groomed for it, no pun intended. So that is clearly this direction of travel. And you will see some people fall out. Reward's not going to move. Niccolo will. You'll see kind of this interesting shakeup over the next 12 to 18 months. The package to move is pretty nice when Disney offers it to you.
Niccolo is like, hey, listen, I enjoy ruining the lives of Spider-Man fans far too much to ever give up this position.
Sure, he wants on the Avengers pretty badly, but he's hunting for Brevort's old position. One more thing, I'd love to get everybody else's opinion on it, but somebody in the chat said, why did it take so long? And there's actually a boring answer for this in terms of the move and the consolidation. They didn't need to do it. Marvel Comics have been ticking along. It has been profitable. It's not been so wildly profitable what they need to pull it in, and it's not losing money that it's been on fire. So it's just sitting out there. They've been trying to build up the movies. Their focus has been there. there was just no real reason to do this, and now there is. So that's it.
Like, I get a question. Like, why move to California? And I mean that as in, like, isn't Hollywood on fire? Isn't Hollywood dying? Aren't they moving to like Tennessee, or isn't Hollywood slated?
Well, this
for
isn't a movie production thing. This is just a consolidation within publishing.
Yeah.
It's media.
Disney's there.
Yeah, the media arm is in
Disney's there.
Burbank. It was going to be Orlando or Seattle or Burbank. And Orlando is the parks and resorts, theme parks kind of hub. Seattle is a lot of the development hub, if it's technical. And Burbank is the media and licensing, and Marvel is media and licensing. So there you go.
And most businesses are moving out of Seattle right now and into Bellevue, so they can avoid.
That's been going on for a while. But now, will Disney move their Burbank operations to someplace like Florida where it will be cheaper? Yeah, maybe. But if you've been to kind of the back lots in Orlando and the parks and resorts area, it's not exactly like there's lots of office space and buildings. And right now, regardless of what's going on in Hollywood, media deals are done in California.
Yep. And that's where all the publishing offices are. So it makes sense for me,
for sure,
the synergy and keeping everything under one roof. And eventually, I think that we're still a long way off, or at least a decent way off from somebody at Disney making the decision that, like, well, we'd be better off just licensing out all of our stuff and not having a Marvel at all. I think we're still a ways from that, because like Perch points out, the company's still profitable. It's still profitable to do it this way.
It is. They like their publishing business. I was listening to a little bit of the stream last week. I think the Webtoon deal is misunderstood. There's reasons that I believe that, but they're not going to stop publishing anytime soon. They're just not. It's profitable. They like that empire. They like this. They like having their media lots of different places. Disney is a big fan of that. They're certainly going to look for places to broaden these properties. But one of the things that I think people listening to this chat probably will like is that in Disney's mind, the way you license things is typically with kind of core classic versions of stuff. That they will certainly do things like gender swap Little Mermaid or things like that. But these are all within their own house. When they go out and they license, you go into any store, Ariel is a redheaded, dumb white girl. They like their classic characters because they're the easiest to kind of license and print and go out worldwide. And so for the comics, you are going to see a lean in that direction.
And the other reason that it's easier is because in approvals, you have a big book of what's allowed and what's not allowed, and these approval people can just go to it and they can say, is it on model? Let's see, Ariel is a redhead that's designed after the cartoon. Yes, that's on model, approved. And if they like let a bunch of licensors change things, that's a whole lot of extra headaches for them internally that they don't want to deal with. So Perch is right, you will get the classic versions.
Oh, for sure. They'll streamline things. There will be a little fewer comics. That's a good thing. What's funny is a lot of the moves that have been made over the last 4 months, and I don't want anybody to misunderstand me. I'm not saying we're entering into a golden era of Marvel, but a lot of the moves that have been happening in the last 4 months are things that we on this show have been begging for like 5 years. So there is an element of, you're finally cleaning up some of your stuff. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we're entering a golden age at all, but I think that there is a chance that we might get some better stuff out of this. And I'm hopeful for that, because isn't that what we all ultimately want, is just these things to be better?
Yeah, I don't need 80 good comics. I don't want 80 I don't want 80 comics period from Marvel every month. I would like to have 10 good ones a month. That's what I would like. And I would like for some of the characters that I really love to be better. I love the X-Men, obviously, so I would like to see that title much, much better. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that go into all this. It's we'll see.
Dynamite Comics
just from
only comics publisher situated in the East Coast now.
Yeah, I would be highly skeptical if anybody came back and tried to sell the idea that Marvel under Disney had some grand master plan. Like, this was all decided 5 years ago, and we're going according to our timetable that was perfectly attuned and aligned and everything else. I think that might be a little too much to swallow, but it certainly seems like most of this is simplification.
Oh, for sure. And I don't think there was ever a timetable, but the idea that they would consolidate their media, I think at least the first time I was aware of it in people who work there was about 2014.
Yep.
But again, this isn't shocking news. When companies buy smaller companies, eventually they consolidate them. They let them run up until the point they don't need to anymore. But I don't think there's ever a set timeline, to your point.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if we think about it, I mean, Wacker is very much, entrenched in the Marvel Disney way of doing things from a streaming and video standpoint. In addition to this comics history and background, you have Winterbaum, who's very much up from the digital side of things, who understands adaptations, he understands animation, he understands the streaming shows. You can quibble over the quality of the shows he's associated with, but he at least understands how they work. You have Abdo, who's coming from music. Abdo is not a musician. He doesn't do music. What he does is license. He understands how to make money from that music. That's what he's there for.
And
So
he was
basically-
so
Yeah.
successful at it. Like that guy is a freaking rock star in Disney from their corporate perspective because of how much money he's made in that space.
Right. So when he comes in, he's not coming in. His title is different. It's not general manager. He's not replacing David Gabriel. But his role seems very similar to a general manager. So, and David Gabriel, that's what he was doing, right? He was doing all these things where he was trying to figure out how do I take the comics and make money out of it. That's where all the blind bags came from. That's where all these, events, timings came from, depending on who you believe in and whatnot. So it's all about alignment. All three of those guys are very digitally focused, not necessarily all digital, but have a very digital heavy kind of sensibility. And also, Buckley's still there till mid 2027. He's not gone. He's still there. And so that alignment for moving the headquarters and making all these changes with Cebulski and everybody else, that all pretty much is taking place over the next year. So it seems like summer 2027 is when most of the current realignment will be complete. That's not to say there won't be more, but that is to say that some of these big changes really all sort of converge and coalesce right around summer 2027. So again, I don't want to give Marvel too much credit by saying they had some grand master timetable, but if you're looking for where that synergy takes place, it's right around basically this time, a little earlier, but about basically this time next year. And it's all about alignment, synergy, strategy with digital, and also making sure that everybody's in alignment with the Disney way of doing things. So, right. Yep.
Right.
So,
and digital, to put a point on it, and then sorry, I'll shut up. I think Sully and Danny would love to talk. You got to understand that where digital is concerned, people keep looking at this like it's A or B. It is not. They will continue to publish comics. If you look at manga as an example, you look at what Shueisha does, you look at how that works. There is a very, very healthy printed manga, distribution overseas, licensing that goes on, all of that. And they have an extremely healthy digital business. Disney looks at this and goes, why in the hell is Netflix a higher net value than us right now? And why is it that they can take a comic property like One Piece and just print money off of it? We're supposed to be the people that are great at that. And so you are going to see Disney, a big investment last year into Webtoon. They're going to work on that strategy. They're going to work on some fixes they need for Webtoon, because if you think about that platform and you think about that platform serving all of their back catalog, you can't really do it well today without a lot of manual effort. You are going to need to deal with horizontal scrolling and other things if you're going to handle that library. So that work is going to get done at Webtoon, and they're going to try and build that up as a powerful piece of the business so they can compete with Shueisha and these other companies that are eating their lunch right now. So that is going to go on, but they're not going to get rid of their publishing arm. It is profitable, and frankly, what they look at it is saying there's a ton of money left on the table, as you can see from these other companies, like what they're doing with manga, that we're not really involved in at all. Like, we're completely missing the boat on it. And so you'll see them invest in both places. But that's why you've got Abdo, who is really good at looking at these channels on this. Again, I don't know that any of this none of this is a guarantee it gets better, but this is their strategy.
Yep.
And now is this.
No, and I think we're just to kind of provide some nuance where we're getting into it significantly, I think, especially with Wes last week's stream, is not so much that print is going away, but just trying to understand that the Webtoon audience as it exists today is not in tune with what a typical Marvel, or at least a classic Marvel comic is like. It's a different audience with different tastes. Sure. And so if you just take current Marvel comics, okay, let's take Daredevil. You take Daredevil as it exists today and just dump it on Webtoon, it's probably not going to do gangbusters.
It's going to fail hard.
Yeah. So the notion then becomes, well, if you're going to lean hard into that, hard is relative. If you're going to lean hard into that Webtoon platform, but you do it with the existing Marvel comics, you're not setting yourself up for optimal success. And so there's a thinking there that, at least for the digital only stuff, if you just say these are the digital comics and these are the print comics, and they're not the same comic, that the digital comics have to align more with the audience that's there if you want to capture that audience, and which is more, for lack of a better term, Tumblr-esque in how in their sensibilities about what they want to read for a comic. And so you wind up potentially having multiple might be a strong word. You have a split in content focus as far as what kind of stories you're telling for the Webtoon platform, which might be different than what you're selling on the print side. That's not to say that's bad or good. They're going to do whatever makes money. But the idea is not necessarily that print goes away, but that if you're going to lean into the Webtoon sphere or the ecosystem, there probably will have to be a little bit of an adjustment to maximize if you want to be successful at it.
For new comics, for sure. I mean, and the last thing Disney wants to do is say, we do believe we are dominant in the superhero space. DC is beating them now. But if you look at the big picture, they believe they've been dominant in the superhero space. And so they're going to carve up those properties and take them over to Webtoon, where they are going to get absolutely murdered because the space and the audience for that is into rom-com, is into, a completely
slice of life.
Yeah, that's that audience. So you'll see them try and win there, but what you're going to see them do more is say, we're not a software digital company at its core. We do not run platforms for digital things. We licensed out a bunch of stuff for Disney Plus. We built some, but we're not good at this. And so you are going to see them go, okay, Webtoon knows how to do the platform. We're going to help steer that. We'll get a couple, in theory, clever consultants to come in and tell them how to do it. And then that Webtoon platform will be how the comics are served for their back catalog, are marketed at their existing piece. They will try some new experiments, but they're not going to come in and suddenly say, let's see if Captain America competing with something that's got 1 million views on Webtoons. It would be embarrassing and terrible for them.
Yep. Dylan, as a reader, do you care? Does this is this just a mild curiosity for you? Does it make any difference whatsoever as far as like your hope for what Marvel may or may not do?
Until I see the change, I don't care. Right now, it's just nothingness to me. Until I actually see it in action, it means nothing to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat. It's all expected corporate consolidation, and we'll see where it goes. It does seem that people I know that know Stephen Wacker like him.
Yeah.
So there is at least that. I mean, I don't know too much about him behind the scenes, but I think that if people like him and they think that he can turn things around, and obviously he's well ensconced in the Disney system, they think he can make them money, and that's really what needs to be done right now.
What?
Company needs to make money.
What would sell me, like as a reader, as a buyer too? Sell me a gadget, sell me a reader, sell me something like really exclusive to the product, like a tablet, preloaded with old comics too. Like give me like an X-Men flavor one that I can just at any time. I don't even need to download them; they're already on my tablet. But a reader with that every week, you just upload your Webtoons and your new releases with your subscription. But like I said, like a dedicated reader, like a tablet.
Sully, you just described a Kindle reader.
Yeah, the Amazon.
they do make those, Sully. I don't know if you're aware.
Yeah.
But something like, I'm just saying, like something Spider-Man flavored. You know what I mean? Like red and blue.
You sound so old. Just like a Rita, like a rectangle where they upload the Webtoon.
Make it easy.
I just want to push a button and read my Black Panther.
Like a book,
Make it easier on me.
but digital. But digital. Like I can turn the pages with my finger.
My finger.
It sounds like Rob Liefeld now.
I seriously make it easier on me as a consumer, as a guest to access your product and enjoy it. And I would like that. But also something just like as a nerd, as a geek, like an X-Men one that's blue and it's yellow with a big blue X on the back or something.
I want a special edition Kindle.
Yeah, something like that, exactly. But
like my Pikachu edition Game Boy that I had back in the day.
Yeah.
I want an X-Men themed, with all the comics already preloaded on it. RateX7 for $5 says, is it really necessary for editors to come into the office these days with today's current tech? The answer to that is no, but corporations want you to be miserable. They want you to. They want to make sure that you're working. And the way that they do that is by having you in an environment where they can watch you. And if you're at home, they have no idea what you're doing.
When in fairness, when some of those editors go on Twitter and talk about, I don't want to answer emails today, I just want to eat 3 pizzas, you kind of understand.
Yeah.
But one of the funnier things that I think has happened over the last kind of couple of years is Feige visiting the New York office, and Reavor was sound asleep at his desk, and that is a Disney lore kind of story that has moved around.
Remote work requires high trust.
That's
and
it.
if you can't trust the people that are working for you, that presents a problem.
Yeah.
Indeed, I mean, look, Dan Slott works from home.
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
Some people do the remote work thing great, and they're awesome, but there are some challenges in the editorial space.
Now, Perch, there was something that came up that was part of the announcements a few weeks back with respect to Buckley. It seemed a little odd that they made a big deal out of it, and I want to get your read on this. There was some announcement, I think it was probably Bleeding Cool or something, where they said Dan Buckley would take personal oversight over the Midnight Universe launch.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you heard that and have any idea why they made such a big deal out of that. That seemed a little out of place.
I'm not sure why they decided to lead with that, but I mean, he's going to get it off the ground. It's part of his kind of exit agreement that he would make the things that he had some initial effort into successful on the way out the door. And that's really that was. But you are right. It was noted in the press release. Maybe it was a way that they were going to kind of slip in the Midnight Universe there as something that was important. So they wanted to just kind of keep that noise. Corporate comms does stuff like that. They will just keep inserting the thing they want to hype into PR, even if it doesn't always fit. But it did seem weird. But this is basically him getting it off the ground. I like we talked about in the chat a long time ago. I was here for that one. I struggle to think this Midnight Universe is going to take off, but I do like a lot of the writers involved. So who knows?
Great.
There was some phrasing in there, Perch, that I definitely would like. Phrasing.
Yeah.
Greetings from Sigma Comics, $5. Our good buddy HH says greetings to the Thinking Critical team and Perch. Perch, are you not part of the Thinking Critical team? Or you just
not? Yeah.
I think that you are. So HH says he is prepping for San Diego next week, as am I, HH. But Wes lost VIP this week, so I push you all to support him, this great channel and team. Thank you so much. Cannot wait to see you in San Diego, HH. Cannot wait to hang out. Guys, go check out Here Comes Calico. And he's got the Green-Eyed Bandito, and he's got a bunch of other cool stuff that you can order from that universe. Dolan Waddick, our good pal Drew, for $4.99 says people have already memory hold the public spat Whacker and JMS had about JMS posting a sales chart of Spider-Man comics pre and post JMS. Very funny.
There's a lot of funny Whacker stories back in the memory hole there, but he's a fascinating guy. I use that term kind of loosely, but he's a fascinating guy.
We'll see how he does. Sandals 1615 for $2. Thank you for all your super chats today, Sandals. I know Wes's family will appreciate it. He says, give him an iPad with a kid's Spider-Man case. There you go, Sully. Would that make you happy?
You know,
what my daughter has.
And put like a mobile app style game, like a Rivals game on it too. You know, just like an all-in-one, a reader, just for your Marvel experience. As an X-Men fan, I would love to have that, you know.
Your check's in the mail, Sully.
Man, I know.
He just has never had a good track record with hardware when they've had consumer hardware. But anyway, I think there's still Disney Infinity toys that I see every now and then pop up in the GameStop.
Oh God, yeah, stupid.
They show up in like the baggies, like the used Infinity toys. Yeah, I've seen those. That's another example of a division of Disney that was profitable, but was not profitable enough in their estimation, so they shut it down.
Well, yeah, I mean, and they got, so that was, sorry, I don't want to derail us. Yes, there were some funny things about that, and they had co-funding into those toys that then went away. So they had a partner for the launch, and then when they looked at like, we're gonna have to pay for the full bag of that stuff, it's like, oh shit, suddenly it goes red fast. So.
Yeah, and that's part of what, that inventory is part of what killed Toys R Us.
Oh yeah.
You remember walking in there, Perch, and it's like, it'd be like, hey, get 3 Infinity toys for $9.99.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, oh, what?
Yeah.
I bought a bunch of the Skylander toys when they were like 3 for $9.99 because I was like, these are fun little characters.
And yet the comic stores still go all in on Funko.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I still see people though. Like I still see people whenever I walk over to the collector section of Target to look at the NECA figures, and that's right by where they have all the Funko Pops, and they're still like.
Listen,
it seems like it's always a
leave
couple.
me alone. Leave me alone.
No, Daddy, they're not cool.
Unless you've got like 500 more behind you, I think you're fine.
Yeah.
I have so many.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
In fact, hold on. There's
Oh, no.
Oh no! What is happening?
Oh.
and there's a whole shelf behind me.
Well, you know what? They're out of the box, which I respect.
They're all out of the box. All of them. I switch them out on my desk and then I bop them on the head.
You know, people. Now, I will say this: Funko, when they did their Darkwing Duck pops, and they did like the little game that had Darkwing in it, they sent me those pops as like a gift. Like, and so like I'm always thankful for that because it's like, you know, yeah, I'll take the Darkwing stuff, and people over the years have given me like a lot of people have given me a lot of things that like I'm interested in. Like they'd be like, hey, look, here's some Masters of the Universe pops, which then I end up trading for Masters of the Universe stuff that's more of the figure variety. But people always say like, oh, these are going to collapse like Beanie Babies. They're never going to have that Beanie Baby collapse, and here's why.
No.
It's because Beanie Babies were really just Beanie Babies, and Funko Pops have always been like, if you're a fan of an obscure property, they will probably eventually get to it, and then you can buy a thing of that property that you like, even though it's a Funko Pop. But there it is. You know, you love the Golden Girls. Here's your Golden Girls Funko Pops that you can put on your shelf and show off that you're a fan of the Golden Girls.
Thank you for
Castlevania. Castlevania and Jon Snow next to each other for no reason whatsoever. Just
that must be a great mashup universe. You know what I mean? Like, he's 7 years old again.
This is actually a true statement. Improbi says Aaron Sparrow is like Dr. Frankenstein digging for body parts in the discount bin for Marvel toys.
Oh, Aaron, I'm like literally yesterday.
Wait a minute.
Old. What?
I am usually digging for body parts, like actually on a daily basis, at least twice a day. At least twice a day, I'm digging for body parts.
That's what that Supergirl cup is for.
Yeah, you just you can actually set up a trap. Eventually, you will get somebody putting a body part in that Supergirl cup.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I think it's worth noting that we've
body parts.
I think it's worth noting that we've only been on the Marvel main topic for about 10 minutes, and we're already bored with it.
Well, I mean, we kind of like,
it's
like I think you and Perch and like, you know, we've kind of like talked it to death, but
yeah,
you know, it's like this is the opening stages. There'll be more to say as we see more of the organizational things come into play.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, if we could summarize that real quickly, I think just basically for now, you're not going to see any difference at all. A year from now, you're going to see some differences that seem very aligned synergistically with streaming and animation and MCU, blah, blah, blah. And then in a couple of years, it's going to be significantly different, but it will be so transitionally slow that month to month, you're not even going to notice it until it's already done. It's probably a fair way to look at it.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true.
And print is not going away. Not anytime soon.
Yeah, until it's not profitable. That's a long way from now.
Yep.
Danny, I believe you have to dip out soon.
I do. I have to go. The husband is hovering. I did promise some quality excursion today out in the real world. So.
Wall.
All right. Well, tell us about your project over on Fund My Comic.
Oh yeah. So that was a weird thing I just did.
That was a weird noise. Randy Savage mouse.
We need the Ryan George clip, Perch, of him going, that was a weird noise.
So yeah, I have a comic. I have a campaign going on over at Fund My Comic right now. That fundmycomic.com/campaign/952/Veiled Legacy. I've memorized it. I think that's what it is. Anyway, if you just go to fundmycomic.com and type in Veiled Legacy, it pops up. That's way easier. It's about a rural Midwestern family's act of kindness turns into a supernatural home invasion, leaving Emma Hogan to survive the night alone, while her twin brother, Jimmy, has to race against the clock to save his family from forces unknown before they are lost forever. It's vampires. Amish vampires attack a family home, okay? They show up looking like just two totally normal Amish gentlemen but they're not. They're monsters. They don't sparkle. They're not like romantic, gonna like woo you into anything. They are monstrous, hideous beings. We're talking gruesome. We're talking action-packed, suspense. I eviscerate you with this book. I promise you that. I don't go all girly Twilight with it. I hate that. I think Twilight is an abomination to the genre, and it should be burnt at the stake.
Well, there's a moment in there that I said like was shocking for me. You know, and I've read a bajillion things. Obviously, I'm an editor. I kind of am used to like seeing where things are going, you know, in the way that people are constructing their stories. And there was a moment in the book that I was like, oh, I guess I can still be surprised in like a good way. That was rather horrifying.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm very proud of it. I've worked very hard at it. It's adapted from a book I wrote 23 years ago, and there's going to be more. I foresee this is actually going to be a 10-book arc. I have finished the script for book 2. I'm working on book 3. There's going to be at least 2 other series in this universe for this story, and I am currently writing a series, a 4-part novella, a prequel that actually takes place 2,500 years in ancient Greece before the events of Midwest Gothic. I'm rewriting the one I sent you, Aaron. It's going to be in first-person perspective instead of omniscient. Mm-hmm. So we're punching it up. But anyway, it is a connected universe.
Yeah, you've done a ton of world building.
Yeah. Oh, yes. So the prequel is called Last Dance of Disparities, and it is my iceberg. It is the beginnings of the first vampire hunter, and the Brotherhood of Abraxas, which is all in, you know, the Midwest Gothic. But anyway, I'm very, very proud of the series. The campaign is going now. My artist is amazing, Evan Scale. He has worked with my editor, my best friend, co-host, my twin, Caro Brown, on Dirty Deeds, and I'm just super proud of it. And I hope you guys check it out.
Yeah, guys, go check it out. Go follow Danny over on Comics and on Twitter, and go check out her channel. She does a lot of fun content that always seems to, like, your lives always seem to pop up when I'm on a Zoom call. So it's like I could rarely like jump over to them, but you know, all kinds of content coming from Danny. So thank you for being here today, Danny. We appreciate it.
Thank you. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and a great weekend, and I will see you later.
Go spend time with your husband now.
Yeah, I know you were.
All right. Dylan, is your girlfriend ever knocking at the door going, come on, Dylan, we gotta go do something. It's Saturday.
Oh, it's 9 a.m. right now. This show starts at 7 a.m. So no.
I'd be worried if you were like, 7 a.m. She's like, come on, we gotta get in the car.
7 a.m. That's when we schedule all our plans for 7 a.m. on Saturday.
It's time to go to church.
We're Jewish or something? Why are we going on a Saturday?
Are you Seventh-day Adventist?
That's why Batman had a sidekick. You know what I mean? He was a Shabbat Goyim, really. You know.
Are you enjoying the perfect time of the year right now up there, Dylan?
It is nice. It is nice.
I was just up there.
Best summers.
Yeah, I was just up there. I think I need to start like summering in Washington.
The best, dude.
Everybody gives a crap about late April, May through early September is just the best time in the world up there.
Yeah, it was so nice, and I posted some pictures on Instagram, like just being up on the mountain and watching the wildlife. It was. I'm just sitting on the porch and I'm drinking my coffee in the morning, and I guess because my dad's cabin is not always occupied. This hawk came swooping in like to land on the porch, and then saw me and was like, oh nope, and like wheeled away. But it was like, man, I have never been that close to like a red-tailed hawk in my life. That was crazy.
It's good stuff. Meanwhile, where I am, it's Arby's level of death heat every single day. And then somehow also flooding and tornadoes. So it's just the best time in the world.
Oh yeah, it's like. Are you in Tornado Alley, Perch?
No, I'm not. But it's there's some shots from San Antonio. It looks like the apocalypse hit a stadium. If you see it on social media, it's actually pretty crazy. But
yeah, I saw some pictures last night. I was like, man, I didn't even know this was happening. It just shows you how, how like the news just doesn't like report a lot of things because they just kind of like feel like it's routine. Oh, another tornado, and let us know when it gets catastrophic, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, where I am, we're getting the toxic air sludge of the Canadian wildfires spreading across the entire northeastern sector of the United States.
Yeah, I've got some friends. I got some friends in Minnesota that have just been complaining about that all week.
Gabe does not have a filter on his background. That's actually just the air quality behind.
That's the air quality. This is the air quality. So yeah, you go outside, everything is in perpetual haze, and it smells like somebody has been burning Scholastic notebooks.
Ooh.
So Canada's on fire. When did they elect Gavin Newsom to be their?
They got Mark Carney. They got their own version. Mark Carney, small hand, smells like cabbage.
Well, the good news is that California, who notoriously does not have water for its fire hydrants when these huge wildfires break out. The good news is if you want to see flooding, you could have looked at Sunset Boulevard this week. Where
that's right. They had a sinkhole. Didn't you have a sinkhole or something?
Yeah, big sinkhole, and they're like, okay, we're repairing the part of the pipe that burst, and it's like, yeah, there's still a whole lot of pipe that is just as old and rotten.
The Hellmouth moved from Sunnyvale to LA, right?
So that's fine. You can have a Hollywood Boulevard sinkhole, and I'll trade you the lightning that somehow looks purple. So, so we'll trade off of that.
Well, we've got Buc-ee's.
That's right.
Nice.
If nothing else, you can take shelter in the Buc-ee's, right?
That's right.
All right. So more
really advertises their bathroom as one of the core things. I'm just saying, whatever. Anyway,
so if we're going to lead into just one more bit of comic news, Lanterns. How are we feeling about Lanterns on HBO?
Don't care.
I'm
really.
I want to see it. Yeah.
Someone asked me on my stream yesterday, like if I was in charge of DCU, what would I do? And the first thing I said, I would see if I could Batgirl Lanterns, if I could get a tax write-off or something for it. That would be like, is it too late for that? Because everything about that show looks terrible.
More than just the tonal inconsistency, which we talked about earlier, what I don't get is the age inconsistency. So basically, you have a Superman who's been Superman for what, like 3 years at this point?
Yeah.
They're talking about a Batman with a Brave and the Bold who's going to be similar in age, but yet he'll also have a Robin, which we don't know which Robin is going to be. And they're somehow doing Clayface before that Batman, which may or may not be connected. And now you get to Lanterns, which are with a Hal Jordan who's basically at the end of his career, bringing on a Jon Stewart who's at the beginning of his career, and somehow that all fits.
Well, it's a repositioning of the character. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna. I think, at least from what I've read and seen, there's a lot of Lanterns out there that are Earth relatively based. So the opportunity in quotes, is that you take Hal Jordan, you make him the elder statesman of the group, or maybe kill him if those rumors are true. But you're basically moving him up. So you don't have like 5 Earth Lanterns running around. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but okay, it's whatever.
Yeah. So
I mean, nothing makes sense. It don't matter. None of this matters.
I want to see it. I do. But I think this is one of those cases that I would like to watch it, and I think it will be pretty much, you'll be able to call it in the first 20 minutes of the show which way it's going to go, and then that'll be fine.
But that's also, for me, another one of those situations where going into that R-rated, gritty adult storytelling kind of basically misses an opportunity. Kids love Green Lantern. Why? Because you have this ring that makes you glow green.
Yeah.
And you can create rhinos, and you can create spaceships, and you can create
punching bag.
A giant saxophone to create a sonic boom, or all. It's imagination to the nth degree. Yeah. And then they just take it and they bring it right down into not to the ground level, into the dirt.
Most people
visually speaking as well.
Most people bash Kyle Rayner, but I always loved his angle when it came to making ring constructs. He was a big anime fan. He would always make like Gundam style mecha suits and stuff.
And he was an artist.
Yeah, he was an artist. And so it was a really interesting kind of self-insert kind of thing, very meta. But I mean, I liked the Kyle Rayner years. I really did. And I like what Jeff Johns did with John Stewart, how John makes his constructs. You can see him. He's an engineer, a designer, a graphic designer. He builds them from the inside out. You can see how their structural integrity is. And I'm like, I love that level of detail to these characters and their power set. So that's where I'm a Lantern fan. I'm a huge Green Lantern fan. That's what I want out of this show. Are we going to get that? Probably not.
No, you're not getting that.
Detective with lanterns, and again, that might work, but it does also continue the theme of this will be the fourth show in a row. Now, by the way, now here I'm projecting with what I think is going to happen, but it's the fourth show in a row where you are going to go into more of a gritty trauma, like as the background of the story, and I do think that's a problem. You need to have something that is a different feel to it sooner or later, ideally sooner.
Yep. I think the whole trauma thing is so overdone. I think it's The Sopranos' fault because it brought the therapeutic experience into our homes and kind of normalized it. And also, Sopranos had a huge impact on 2 generations of writers, comic writers and TV writers. And so everything is about, we go back to Supergirl for a second. It's about her traumatic experience. And I'm so sick of the trauma narrative with our superheroes. It's like,
then you better stop reading Tom King, because that's the one trick of the one trick pony.
His modus operandi. And it's like,
I personally don't have any problem beating up on Tom King, not as a person, but just for his work.
Right.
But
I have no problem beating up on him as a person.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Get a
but
doctor,
one of the things I kind of don't like about Tom King is plagiarism is not the right word. But direct sort of rip and replace is probably fair. I mean, if you think about what is tomorrow, it's True Grit. If you think about what he's doing with Lanterns, it's True Detective. Never in a million years, 2 or 3 or 5 years ago, if you said, we're going to do a Lanterns TV show, what do you think they're going to model it after? It would never have occurred to me at all to say True Detective. If you think about his Human Target miniseries that he did with Greg Smallwood, which is fantastic art, but the story is a direct rip from a detective noir film called DOA. It is point for point the exact same story. So he's doing what Tom King does, which is what I really don't like, is he takes classic films and classic stories, readapts them into the superhero genre, and just takes characters and just dumps them into the roles, whether they make sense or not. And I think that's what tends to put people off a lot about the situation, is because he takes stories that are meant for the superheroes that he's writing for, and he just fits them in a way that doesn't make sense. And when people say, we have this saying that among the reviewers is everybody loves Tom King until he writes their favorite character, because he has no reverence for the characters. He has reverence for his story idea, whether it makes sense for the character or not.
And his story idea is, what if I ripped off this thing and then stretched the superhero skin around it?
Exactly right. What if I ripped off this other story and then just put these characters in their places? I mean, that's the whole point that's why Supergirl was so off-putting, is because the role that he wrote for Supergirl was supposed to be Lobo. That was his original concept. So when you're watching Supergirl on screen, you're not watching Supergirl, you're watching Lobo wearing a Supergirl skin. And people are
is that editorial's fault, though? Because didn't editorial tell him he couldn't use Lobo in that role and it should be Supergirl?
And guess which editor told him to do that?
Which
Take
editor?
a wild guess which editor told
I'm gonna guess it's a woman.
You're getting closer.
It's
Brittany Holzer.
Okay.
According to Tom King, this was Tom King's old word. Brittany Holzer told him to change it. So,
and as
we all know, Tom has no problem throwing an editor under the bus.
Yeah, I don't buy it at all. I think.
But we also know Tom King is a proven liar as well. So
Brittany is a lot of things. She makes choices. That's not a Brittany choice. I don't buy. I by the way, Gabe, you're saying the truth. That is what he said. So
that is what he said.
You were giving us what he said, but King is a complete.
Why would such an avowed feminist as Tom King throw an unpopular decision on a female editor?
Tom King likes to throw a lot of things around on other people.
Yeah.
Still stinging about the Jay Lee situation. I still sting about that one.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, people stopped going up and talking to Jay Lee about it because I think Jay Lee is like super over it. So if you see him at a con, just don't bring up the Tom King thing. Just go tell Jay Lee that you appreciate him. But yeah, that still sticks in my craw.
Yeah. So
we have some more super chats, and I can't believe we got this one after Danny leaves. We get left with this. Twilight has the best story that was never told, and that was the chick that got turned by the mobsters that hunted them down in her wedding dress. Dice K, I will take your word for that. I don't know what that means, and I don't think anybody else does either.
I don't.
Although Perch has daughters, Perch might have had to watch the Twilight films.
Not the age.
Okay, good.
Oh,
Zero interest. They did.
My girlfriend's making me watch them currently, and we just finished the middle one last night, and it's just like I'm over it. I was like, Jacob, put a shirt on. I don't care anymore.
if you're looking for vampire content that's much better than it has any right to be, check out the Interview with the Vampire series on AMC. It is really good. I was surprised. They've already gone through 2 seasons, and they're on the 3rd season where it's focusing on Lestat in his rock star phase, where he just decided to be a rock star. I mean, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but if you want the vampires where they're not afraid to get bloody and violent and mean and broken and all that kind of stuff, but you don't want the sparkly Twilight stuff, I would recommend checking that out. It's actually pretty decent.
All right. Dice K also says, a straight white man that is the embodiment of courage and puts a positive spin on the military. Gee, I wonder why he's being trashed. That obviously is in reference to Hal Jordan. Lanterns.
Yeah, but it might also be in reference to that puff piece that came out for Variety about Tom King, about how he's going to make the Lanterns cool again, whatever the hell that means.
I love that the one that I saw, it's immediately him apologizing for being in the CIA, sort of. I was just doing my job. I didn't want to go to war in Iraq. I was against it, but I was doing my job. It's like, why is this in this Lanterns interview? Like, what does this have to do with anything?
He had to get out because he gets shit on constantly for that. Like, Twitter used to love Tom King, and now they just go at his neck because he's in the CIA.
I'm this is my my bias on that, but that entire article reeked of preemptive puff piece on Lanterns.
Oh yeah,
because he wrote the first season with the
preemptive damage control.
Yeah,
but Dice K, to your point, we were never going to get anything else when you've got Damon White Guilt Lindelof as one of the showrunners, or as one of the writers on it.
Awful talent selection by Gunn. If that truly is his talent selection, it's awful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we should have put Jonathan Hickman in charge of talent selection instead. Teeny Howard presents Lanterns.
With Jordan White.
And to respond to someone in the chat who brings up a very salient point, Jon Stewart is military as well, Marines, and as Jordan is Air Force. So, there's that too. But talk about the military,
And I think they're ignoring his architecture background as well.
They've leaned really heavily into the Marine aspect, I think, since about Blackest Night or so. I mean, I think that was like, when did that become a part of his big story? Because he was like, I thought that was like, that's relatively new to Jon Stewart's overall character, because now he's a Marine sniper.
Well, yeah, it was
that
there.
Jeff Johns?
On it more. I think it was to draw some distinction between Kyle, and I think it was Kyle's an artist and Stewart's an architect, and if you're a feeble-minded idiot, those sound similar.
Yeah, I intended to. So fan cheered for $5 says, Danny, comic books love disability. Next time, have to post Lou Diamond Phillips message to X for Stargate fans. Save Stargate cameos, ladies.
But on the plus side, SDCC is coming up next weekend, right? Is it next weekend?
It's
starts next Wednesday.
Yeah,
next Wednesday.
And it's coming Wednesday, I should say.
I've heard, take it with a grain of salt, that they're going to be releasing a new Lanterns trailer that might be trying to correct some of the marketing faux pas of the first teaser.
So yeah, they're slinking into Hall H on Sunday, which is the day that people it's kind of like dump day for Hall H. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that
They're supposed to show some footage. I mean, I think with the trailers, I mean, they're using a very, very classic approach that studio uses all the time, where they're going to save kind of the superhero reveals to the last trailer. And so you're getting the grounded stuff that eases into the superhero stuff. So I think that is kind of to plan, but who knows? I haven't heard a lot of reshoots or anything, though. I haven't heard a lot of changes. I hear they're going with what they're going with.
Yeah. We'll see how it turns out. Daisuke says talent selection is based off of skill with knee pads.
Wow.
I mean, that is a very Hollywood thing.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So I think that kind of like, does anybody have anything compelling to say about Marvel at this point?
Well, we're going to talk about how Nightwing sucks at some point, because he does.
Oh, too bad.
Who's
One thing I'll say about
still
Marvel,
Dan Waters, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
My Marvel parting shot is this.
And the overall thing. Yeah.
Tell us, Perch. Tell us why Nightwing sucks. I'm not reading it, so I have no.
No, I'm not reading it either. I'm talking more broadly. I've always hated that character.
So Perch hates two things in life: Nightwing and Arby's.
Oh, I can keep going. No, I hate so many things, but I've never been a big. Wes and I have kind of not angrily, just humorously angrily debated this a lot. I've never liked Nightwing. I've never understood it.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the most insane thing I've ever heard from you, Perch.
Everybody was always like, him because he just called him an it.
It isn't it.
But it's funny to me because people are like, "Oh, Perch, you're a fence sitter," and then you come out with that blazing hot take.
There's no fence sitting. I've got all the takes. Yeah. Well, I just hate that character. I don't know. I never liked it, and this dates back to the 80s.
I've never understood the fence sitting argument with you, because it's like, I mean, I get why people say that, because being reasonable is apparently fence sitting now. Like that's how it seems. You have to be like on one extreme or the other. But occasionally coming in and going, guys, this isn't that big a deal, is seen as you're just
like, hey, you should think this through. Like, how dare you tell me to think, fence sitter? So,
yeah, I like when people say like, "Oh, Perch is like a comic industry shill," and you're like, "Do you know how many people angrily call Perch?" Or like, "Why did you say this about my book?" Or "Why did you say this about this creator?" It was like, you were definitely not a shill.
No, I definitely, I don't have, I've got friends and not friends in comics for sure, but it's like you get wild. It's like this movie conversation we were having earlier. You can do anything you want as a person, but I like to, at least when I'm going in, the money's been spent, I'm watching something on TV. I try and as much as possible not think about the box office and all the other elements to it. This doesn't mean I'm sitting there like a sap just wanting to enjoy whatever's on. I'm not a shareholder. I don't need to care about that in that moment, and it's my time. So I'm also, by the way, the guy who, if 5 minutes into it, I'm like, nope, this is just going to suck. I'm not liking it. I am bailing. I don't continue to sit there for 2 more hours. I have abandoned so many things.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't have time for that.
And that's true. Perch just doesn't like dick.
Yeah, but I mean, but you're missing out, because I hear the Odyssey really starts to pick up around hour 3.
That's my problem with it. So I like Nolan a lot, and I will see that movie at some point. I do like his films, but it's a tough sell for me now to come in for 3 hours. It's just my attention span isn't there.
Well, it's not just that. It's like you got to drive to the theater. You got to get your whatever snacks you're going to get, and if you're bringing family, you're definitely in that line, I assume, Perch. And then you've got to sit through 30 minutes of if you get there on time, you're in for 30 minutes of advertising, and then 20 to 30 minutes of trailers. So it's like you've invested an hour and you're not even into the movie yet.
I like. I mean, one thing that's just transformed me is this. There's a chain called Flick's Brew House, and first of all, they brew beer there. It's got tons of cocktails, so that already we're in good standing. Like, things are improving, and then it is one of the reserve the seats places. So, and they give you the start time and the trailer time.
Oh, that's good.
And I just show up at start time, bypass all the trailers, and sit down with a beer, and like that heals a lot of problems right out the gate.
You got to work down to a science. Super Mastermind for $5 says Disney Plus asked to go away via shareholders. Look it up. They want the money via dividends. That is not surprising. I saw the article. I think it was Wall Street Journal or Forbes, where someone was saying that they need to abandon their streaming business I tend to agree. I think that is a money pit that they are never going to be able to make profitable, and I think that they've certainly shot themselves in the foot by continuing to try to make that a thing.
Hey guys, I have to jump off for a family thing. So thank you very much for having me. I appreciate everybody to stream. Thank you for all the comments. It's good talking to you, and I appreciate the day. And again, good luck and God bless to Wes and his family.
Yeah,
absolutely. Thanks, Gabe, for joining us.
Yep.
All right, well, let's go into comic recommendations. Perch, you got anything you want to recommend this week? Any comics that you checked out that you were like, man, this is worth me endorsing?
Yeah, I read. I mean, sorry, shit. I'm not prepared. You just went right into this. Why did you?
And I chose you.
Yeah, why? I went. Let's see. Going through my list.
I could jump to Sully, and then he'll take 10 minutes to tell us about his comic book bodega. And, and then you'll have prep time. Is that better?
Well, definitely Nightwing 140 was the best. No. No. Absolute Green Arrow, I have a love-hate relationship with. It's okay. I don't like the story and where it's going, but I want to like it, which is a weird way of saying it. I thought World's Finest was okay this week. Dark Knights of Steel 2 was better than I was expecting. Deathstroke was I like that. Lobo I'm struggling with. I should like that more, but I don't know where that's circling at this point. Over in Marvel Land, I mean, this old Top Gun itself, but the one and dones, I'm over them. I don't like Fantastic Four continues to do this, and I love that they recently did a short arc with the Evil Invisible Woman. Back to the one and dones. I just please stop this trend. I don't like it. A lot of these stories are not that great. But X-Force is okay. The Punisher Amazing Spider-Man was actually fine for what it was. Infernal Hulk was probably the winner there. Avengers Armageddon. I was talking to a friend, and I'm like, this comic is 4 panels, and I've sent the 4 panels, and you could sum up the entire comic in 4 panels. I've never seen so little happen in a comic than this comic. It was absolutely absurd. I like the latest Department of Truth. That's a comic I haven't really super enjoyed in a while, so I did enjoy that. And Rockefellers was okay. So that's probably Bad Rock #1, clearly the book of the century right there.
Who wrote that?
Who did read that? Who did write that? It is let's see, hang on. It is ass. That's Rob Liefeld, yeah.
Does it start with Bad Rock jumping off of something onto a place with no background?
The guy's face, yeah. But yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, Rob, it's such a struggle because I get the guy. I do owe him because he paid for it many times in the 90s. He paid for Comic Store Writ, but the saltiness and the revisionist history and the complete denial of Fabian and some of the other stuff is just, I can't take it, man.
Yeah, the way he treated the artist that won the contest, just like little things like that, they just kind of like stack up in my mind. And then when he says things like, "Well, I'm a master storyteller," and I'm like, "Really? Really?"
I mean, guy who shills Arby's discovers technology in 2026. Way to go. Sorry, no, Levi's. What am I saying?
You got Arby's on the mind. See, like Wes would accuse you of thinking of a Big Montana that you're like just jonesing for it.
Yeah,
even though
we already established I don't like dick. Anyways,
oh my goodness. But do you like Banana, Perch? I mean, did you read Banana number one on Bad Idea?
I did not read. Bad Idea. I did not read it. Yeah,
delicious Kevin Maguire art. Just want to say.
Yeah, I do love Maguire, and he needs money and work.
Hey, I hear Distillery's back. Anyway, let's move on. Perch, you guys got a quick question before we move on to Sully's recommendations. Perch, do you like Spidey? Nightwing and Spidey are similar.
I don't think they're similar at all, personally, but Spidey's okay. But it's funny. I get the most questions on my channel about Spidey, and I am probably much more of I'm definitely more of an X-Men, probably Avengers, Batman, Cap fan than Spidey. I don't dislike Spidey, but I don't think they're that similar at all. I think very different dynamics. Oh, by the way. So Doc usually does this, and I do find it kind of obnoxious because the question is, what are the new comics this week, right? And so the cop out of like, here's a comic from the 80s because they all suck. By the way, I love Doc, but I give him shit for this.
You wouldn't be this channel if we didn't give each other shit.
Well, yeah, there you go. I was asked to reread Web of Spider-Man 11 and 12, and These are kind of these obscure issues. These are two amazing comics. And it's all the more, what I had forgotten about is it's two different writers, Peter David, who's the first one? Anyway, you've got two different writers on those books. And this comic is telling the story of Peter Parker, who is kind of feeling down in the dumps. It's after the Jean DeWolf stuff. And he's like, maybe costume vigilantes isn't the way to go. And so when there's a kind of a robbery, a little gang activity, he solves it as Peter Parker. And he is hailed as a hero, but then of course the gang targets his family and everything else. But it's two issues that today would be decompressed into like 4 years of storytelling, and they're just tremendous. So anyway, there you go.
There you go. Before we go to Sully's recommendations, I just want to once again say that our sponsor this week is Unholy Nightmare. I have not been able to play the trailer because I could not get it to upload. A lot of things came together on this show fairly quickly with everything that's going on with Wes. So again,
dinosaur scares me so much. I'm actually kind of like oddly grateful. I'm not. I'm kidding. No, it's going to be. I love the Reanimator. I love Dr. Herbert West as a character, and I'm looking forward to checking this out myself.
I had an opportunity to work with Jeffrey Combs, and it was so delightful because he said, I was at this show, recently, and it was for this little indie horror film I did back in the day, Reanimator, and it's like, yes, everyone in this room was familiar with Reanimator. It was just such a lovely, humble moment from him of like, let me tell you about this little film I did. It'd be like if he was telling me like, so I did this voice on Justice League Unlimited for this little character called The Question. And I would just be exactly the same. So what do you got for us this week, Sully?
Conspiracies. It's conspiracy. That was the best line from The Question and JLU. I love that. Plural. No,
I like when he does the elaborate, like it's not even a line, but it's just the elaborate checking out of the security, the security system, and running his finger along where the connections are, and walks off screen, and then just comes back with a plant and just throws it through the window. Genius.
Just great stuff. I just want to give a special honorable mention to something I bought last week. Rolling Stones put out a new CD of 14 really good rock and roll songs. They do not reinvent the wheel. This is a really good rock album. I've listened to it 5 times this week, and I'm in love with it. So maybe if you're a big Rolling Stones fan like me, this might be their swan song, so don't miss it. I picked up 4 things from my local comic book shop this week, and it was kind of on the house. See, for every $10 you spend at my store, you get a stamp on one of these cards. So over 10 stamps, you're going to get $3 off your next purchase, and you can accumulate the cards too. So I paid for my stack of funny books with my accumulated, customer incentive cards, and this is a great little thing. My last comic book shop gave me I think 15% off of new releases on my poll or something like that. And so it's so every store has their own kind of incentive to get you to come in and spend their money. I've been looking forward to getting this. I picked up DC's New Frontier on compact, $10 for 416 pages of Darwin Cook art and story. What are you waiting for? This is a great story, great art, and a great price too. I mean, I've been looking. I love the DC compact format and line. I'm in. I got 3 floppies this week. I've got Infernal Hulk #9. Pretty good story. It's the penultimate issue of Infernal. There's only one more issue. Then we go into Hulk War, and we get back Nick Klein on art. But this was a really good issue, a very devious Bruce Banner, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Philip Kennedy Johnson lands this and what's next. Speaking of Banana number one, I got this J.G. Jones variant cover of a David Bowie style of Banana #1. This is just, I don't know what the hell is up with this book. It's like some kind of one shot. I don't think there aren't any more issues solicited, but it's on Bad Idea. And what I love the most are the pages, the paper stock, the way that it's not glossy, the way that the pages hold the color, and this absurd story, and it's great Kevin Maguire art, and it's kind of brought down a little bit at the end with this black and white story written by Mark Waid, and it's a little morose, but overall this is a really fun book, so go support one of the non-traditional big two comics out there. My pick of the week, though, is Energon Universe G.I. Joe number 24 by Joshua Williamson. I got, Aaron, look, I got the Valkyries.
Oh, cool.
Variant cover, because I'm a sucker for a Baroness variant cover. Well, we got Valkyries this month. And this was really fun. Really good issue. Like the first real team up between Destro and Baroness, like off the side. And like you can see the connection that they have. And they're my favorite, like G.I. Joe couple. And this is a fun book. Looking forward to seeing what's next. And that's all my picks of the week. Yeah, my pick of the week is G.I. Joe 24. And
people have been asking for more Valkyries too. Like I've seen people on Twitter and
really,
yeah, they've been like saying like, you know what, when is Josh Williamson gonna like expand on the Valkyries? And cool. And so
yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. And honestly, I mean, what's the better G.I. Joe book right now? I mean, I love Hammer's Real American Hero, but I'm loving Joshua Williamson's G.I. Joe. I mean, it's better than Transformers. I mean, I feel it's the real nucleus of this Energon universe. So it's like, and thank everyone out there who are watching in the chat, who leave comments later on. And God bless Wes and his family at this time. And thank you, Wes, for bringing us all together here, on your Saturday morning delight. And we're all in this together, and we're all here for you, bud. And thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right, Dylan, what do you got for us this week?
Actually, a lot of good comics this week. Deathstroke number 5 continues to be really good. If you've ever read a Deathstroke comic, the plot twist is you can see coming from a mile away, but aside from that, pretty good. I like it. Still a great action-oriented book. Absolute Flash, after the first arc that lasted 12 issues and was pretty bad, it's actually been really good, and this concludes the latest Grodd arc, and I liked it. Also, we got a Handing on art. She's been really good, and I actually like her better than the main artist. Lobo has been a mixed bag for me, but I did enjoy this latest issue. And the art is just incredible from Jorge Corona. He's so good. G.I. Joe continues to be really good, although there is a panel here where I was like, oh, snap, I can't believe they killed that guy. And then it's like, oh, he's fine. Okay, well, I kind of wish he would have died. There was one panel, I don't know if the rest of you guys thought that, where it like really looked like, they're actually doing it.
Is it Risk?
Yes, it's Risk. Because there's a panel where it fully looks like he gets like his head's going to be chopped off, and then it doesn't happen. I was like, oh. I wish they would have committed to that. That would have taken balls for Williamson to kill his original creation, especially as soon as he got interesting. Because like during this arc, this is the first time I've actually somewhat cared about Risk. It's like, we're seeing like he's got a backstory and stuff, and he does more than just punch things.
He's not getting his ass kicked.
Yeah. Dan Abnett on Punisher versus Amazing Spider-Man was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it. It's a period piece. It doesn't take place it doesn't take place in the current Marvel timeline because you can't do anything interesting with Spider-Man there. So it's like back in the day. And it's interesting because it's both Spider-Man and Punisher being like, I can convert this guy to how I fight crime, and like seeing how that goes. And I really like the conversation between Peter and Johnny Storm in this, because instantly Johnny Storm is like, Punisher's an evil murderer bad guy. You can't be with him. And Spider-Man's like, yeah, putting people in jail, then them coming out and killing more people isn't really justice. So maybe he's not entirely wrong. I was like, oh, finally someone that's pushing back, because I feel like for a while now it's everyone being like, Punisher's bad, everything he does is bad, he's just an evil murderer. So it's cool seeing Peter actually stick up for Frank there. The Infernal Hulk issue 9, it continues to easily be the best book at Marvel. It's really good. I'm enjoying it. Battle Beast was incredible this week. We've continued the battle between Battle Beast and Conquest. It was really, really good. And they're kind of broing down now because they've just been slugging it out. And now they're kind of like, they like each other a little bit now. And so it's pretty cool. And then lastly, Of the Earth. I really like Chris Condon. This is his horror book, one of his horror books. And I really enjoy what's going on right now. We're getting more into the thick of it with this issue.
Very nice. Yeah, some good stuff at the comic book store. Guys, go check it out. I'm going to go once again mention our sponsor this week is Unholy Nightmare number 3. Over $11,000 right now with 152 backers. So you guys have really come in and delivered for us on that. Link is in the chat there. And thank you everybody so much. Perch, thank you for being here. Always a pleasure when you come in. I don't think it's boring when you talk about business.
No.
I think that you have an insight that is invaluable into these things, and you also have probably more connections in any of this than any of us. So.
I just like hearing from all of you. So I always feel like when I'm on here, I'm not hearing as much from Dylan and Sully. So I do like hearing from you guys. But no, I mean, I wouldn't turn this down any day to be here for Wes and for him and his family. Just know that me and my family are talking about you, thinking about you. We're here for you.
Absolutely. So thank you guys, and thanks to everybody in the chat for hanging out with us on Saturday morning, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. We are out of here.
Get out.